It's Friday. It's 7:58 a.m. It's time for Good Morning Pop Culture. We are live. So today is the 20th of September, 2018. Friday, the best day of the weekday. Why? Because you probably don't have to go to work tomorrow. So it's the last day of the week where you got to get your asses up, get to work. But it's a bittersweet victory because it's also the last day of the week that Good Morning Pop Culture is featured. So we are ready to go in just a moment because the numbers are off the chart. We're already at 130 viewers, so let's make sure we get 130 thumbs up. Hell, get an extra one in there for me because I can't thumbs up my own video. But let's talk about one thing before we start today's main topic. Stealing Solo. So, folks, I said last night on World Class Bullshitters, the epitome of pop culture, the best podcast on the internet, I said to you guys, if we can get Stealing Solo to 800 backers by Saturday, I would do a live stream where I sketch and you guys watch and send in stuff and I'll draw what you tell me. Well, guess what? It happened. Look at that number right there. 800 backers. So it's official. Saturday night. I'll figure out the time. I'm going to be doing a sketch party where it's just me, a webcam, some decent lighting, and I'm taking requests to draw for fun. We'll be talking about Stealing Solo. We'll be talking about art in general. We'll talk about, stuff we love and that we're passionate about. So there you go. I'd like to thank all 800 backers right now. There's only 23 days left in the campaign, so if you guys are on the fence about it, get over to the right side of that fence and pick up your copy. We already got a super chat from our friend Jaron Ricewig. Thank you very much. Sink in bed this morning, it says sink in bed, which sucks. But the doctor ordered me some world-class bullshitters, which doesn't suck. Funny, though, my doctor's name is Corey Brown. Doc Brown. Well, Jaron Ricewig, if you're sick in bed, we're all pulling for you. So hopefully you can have a fun weekend. Get over this 24-hour bug. And then, go out and hang out with friends, play some video games. Do what you got to do. It's the weekend. You don't want to be stuck in bed forever. Well, unless you're me and you want to sleep in bed all day and then roll out at about noon. But that never is the case. So this morning's show is going to be a little interesting because last night we covered this briefly, and if you haven't had a chance, which a lot of you haven't, on World Class Bullshitters to check it out, the Star Wars Resistance trailer. So as soon as we get 9 more viewers, we will start talking about the topic, the trailer, if you will, the mistake in waiting. And while we're waiting, let's get the trailer pulled up. So, Star Wars Resistance trailer. Hey, when you type in Star Wars Resistance trailer, here we are. Cool. That first look trailer just really isn't doing it for anybody either. So, we'll look at the sneak peek one from yesterday. Now, obviously, I can't show you the whole trailer, but I am here to talk about the like to dislike ratio as well as some of the infighting among the fan base. And maybe it's exactly what Disney wants. Now, am I suggesting that Disney has, made this trailer intentionally bad and, had a bunch of sock puppet accounts to vote it down? No, I'm not going to even humor that idea. But what I will say is this. There's a disturbance in the Force, according to the fans. Before, it seemed like the happy fools came out in droves for The Force Awakens. Then people didn't like it, but it still made them happy enough that they rushed out for Rogue One. And then they saw then they saw The Last Jedi, and they realized they were duped. So Solo suffered for the outrage. and now you have the apologists coming out in droves. Well, I hope that for every one of these really, really violent defenders of Star Wars, I hope they're out there picking up a couple pieces of merchandise, because talking shit on YouTube and giving a like and a comment and a subscribe and we got to make sure we give this a chance, that means exactly nothing in the grand scheme of things. You have to watch the show. You have to actually do the legwork. You can't just say, oh, well, I gave it a nice response on YouTube, therefore I'm helping save Star Wars. No, get your candy asses out into the stores if you firmly believe it, because don't get testy and pissy with us who aren't satisfied with Star Wars. It's called a consumer statement. Okay? We refuse to consume certain Star Wars merchandise based on, a lack of quality or a lack of respect on the end of the producer. No one would have any qualms with bitching at Coca-Cola if Coca-Cola said we only serve X, Y, and Z. Only white women who went to college can buy Coca-Cola and everyone else is a tool. That would not fly, because first off, that's discrimination. And secondly, that's bad business practices. But it's funny because Coca-Cola isn't necessarily something that's tied to your childhood. It's just a disposable product. It's not anything that people are passionate about. Well, at least these people would be. So they want to hide behind my childhood, Star Wars, this, that, and the other. So they're now in the phase of abused relationship. Oh, well, Star Wars did me wrong. No, it didn't. Everything's great with Star Wars. We're all fine here now. Thank you. How are you? That kind of shit. That's where we are. And that's where a lot of these likes to dislikes come in. So if you can't see it on your screen, there are 6,520 dislikes to 4,739 dislikes. Likes to dislikes. Okay, I said it right. I haven't voted, as you can see. I don't really care. I haven't really said too much. There's a golden Phasma Trooper. Oh my God, because that'll put butts in seats. But they're trying to use this show to explain the plot holes from episode 7. Now, just on that principle alone, I'm not going to watch it. Why? I don't like episode 7. I don't want more of the universe. You need to explain to me why the universe is in tatters the way it is in the movie. You didn't have to watch episode 6.7 to understand it. You shouldn't have to watch episode 6.7. The movie should tell you. We just watched the greatest victory in the galaxy take place with Return of the Jedi, and then it was all for naught. Is that a statement from J.J. Abrams about the futility of success in life, and you exist and there's no such thing as victory? Maybe that's the case. Maybe that is the case, but I don't like it. So we have let's look at some of the top comments. So this comes from Rodimus Rider. Anyone else actually willing to give the show a chance? I mean, both Clone Wars and Rebels took a while to get the right momentum, and now look at them. Maybe Resistance will be the same. And then Stephen the White says, wrong. The Rebels never got the right momentum. It had 2 brief moments that were good. The rest were Scooby-Doo BS. The Clone Wars was a masterpiece that got better and better. I will agree that this looks more entertaining than Rebels, but that's not saying a whole lot. Some would take that as negative. I would take that as pretty level-headed statement that's of someone that's not interested in watching the show. I know for me, cable is an issue, but if I really wanted to watch it, I could go out of my way, but I don't. Hiding behind Disney has tried to make their bed in the camp of Star Wars is for kids. But as I said last night, you can't market it to adults if you only want the kids to watch it. If you said this is a children's brand like a Paw Patrol or PJ Masks, or honestly, those are the only 2 things that I know off the top of my head because Dion has a kid and a nephew. But if you're going to market a kids brand like that, make Star Wars marketed like that. Look at something like Spider-Man. Spider-Man's all ages. It can range from, adults that like it to little kids that like it. That's why they have that. They had the preschool, Fisher Price, whatever, superhero stuff with the big heads, Marvel superheroes. And then you got the Spider-Man game. That's a little, rated T for teen? So you kind of have the nice, you run the gamut of ratings and availability and commercial viability for all different ages and groups. Star Wars just keeps wanting to hide behind that it's for kids thing to try to skirt criticism. Criticism is important, good and bad. If somebody critiques your work, some people are on a power trip and they're assholes, like that teacher that'll never give an A. Yeah, those people are dicks that are on a power trip that'll never get the satisfaction, but there may be some valid points. And then there's people who like what you do and they want to see it get better, so they try to give you pointers. Sometimes there are people that try to give you critiques that don't know what they're talking about. But in consumer relations, the customer is always right. Not necessarily that their opinion is 100% valid, but they always vote with their wallets, and they decide what is successful or not. But there are a lot of I want to say defenders and apologists coming out, because that seems to be the case. I know they're trying to use the narrative, oh, the other one only got all those thumbs down because of the haters. I don't know. Star Wars Explained is doing videos talking about the fan-made trailer versus the Rebels, or excuse me, the Resistance actual show. So I haven't watched Star Wars Explained. I don't know, personal bias or anything against them. I just don't watch it. But it's more than just a couple angry people on the internet. At this point, it was hundreds of thousands of people that thumbs that video down. Disney needs to get over themselves. It's not necessarily a bunch of angry white dudes on the internet that are making your franchise tank. It's not a bunch of angry white dudes that made Bob Iger come out in public and say, well, we may have gone too fast. We may have put out too much Star Wars too fast. That's not our fault. I'm not even white, so I can't put myself in that R camp, but it's not the fans' fault that you're fucking up. Let's stop trying to pass the buck. Accept the blame. So let's see. More people are talking about, I understand it's for kids. What's so bad about it? Airs at 10 p.m. Oh, that's not that funny. People are freaking out because it's Star Killer Base. What's with these fans and them hating a Star Wars TV show that isn't the Clone Wars? Can we just give the show an open mind when it debuts? I mean, it's done by the same person, crying out loud. Well, Jin Kwan, no, it's not. Dave Filoni is only involved in name only, like Lucasfilm in name only, Lino, so Defino, Delfino Plaza, Super Mario Sunshine, Super Smash Brothers. I love that song. But I think this seems to be the sentiment on the video, But Angel Demon makes a point. It needs to look good first. So far, it looks stupidly childish. Have you ever noticed that Disney products are the ones that people can't rip on a trailer from the first appearance? Yesterday we talked about X-Men and we were like, the trailer didn't look that good. And no one batted an eyelash. You say Captain Marvel doesn't look that good, you're a fucking sexist. You see how it goes. There's the Disney double standard, the double D. Yes. Maybe they've brainwashed their fans. Maybe they just have a bunch of robots. Who knows what's going on? Let's call the fans a bunch of robotic automatons. All I can tell you is that anytime people aren't openly praising a Disney product, they have some kind of pejorative phrase for them. What if you're just dissatisfied from what you see? It's that simple. Maybe you go to a restaurant and you want to eat a nice steak dinner, but the steak is overcooked and not that good. And you voice your displeasure, but the chef is from Lebanon, and you say you don't like the food, it's not that good, and then they try to use the whole, you don't like people from Lebanon making your steak. You see how it gets so dumb? That example was dumb, but the situation was dumb too to be put in the first place. Now Andrew Grievous makes a point that I agree with on the opposite side. These dislikes make me feel embarrassed to be a Star Wars fan. You guys are getting another Filoni show that will follow up Rebels and a live action and Clone Wars coming back, and yet this one kid show that they're doing on the side has you mad. Grow up. See, I did give that a thumbs down because I am embarrassed to be a Star Wars fan for people like Andrew, who act like we're being gifted Star Wars stuff. Motherfucker, they want to make money, okay? There's no nobility behind these Star Wars announcements. That's why people got all pissy when I said, the Clone Wars is coming back, but don't get excited. It's just old rehashed shit that we've all seen the episodes for. Well, people couldn't handle that. Oh, Jeff, you didn't say what we liked about the thing we like. Well, you know what? Deal with it. Same thing with Andrew. Deal with it. There's nobody in a high tower at Lucasfilm going, today I'm feeling generous. Today, I think I'm going to make the Clone Wars again. No, it's fuck. Star Wars, the last movie has underperformed. We don't have anything projected to keep people interested. If we just go quietly, people are going to remember Solo and the last thing we've done. So what do? Well, hey guys, Clone Wars is here. Clone Wars is here. And people are like, yay, Clone Wars. And now they're like Rebels or Resistance. And they're like, And you got people like Andrew trying to make excuses. Guys, excuses are for the weak. This is the biggest entertainment company in the world. You guys have all the market research money. You have all the money. You can do whatever the hell you want to do. Don't expect us to make excuses for you. And for those who do, don't expect us who are dissatisfied to lap up your bullshit. It's people like this that are apologists. They have the battered wife syndrome. Oh, Ike whooped my ass, but I'll take him back. Well, Star Wars pissed on our shoes, but I ain't taking you back. Star Wars, you don't sleep in the house anymore. You're outside to fend for yourself. And if you make good and you apologize and you clean my shoes, maybe I'll come back and let you in and watch your movies. But yeah, this Clone Wars, I keep calling it Clone Wars. It's hard to figure out what the hell it is. This Resistance trailer, it just disappoints me beyond disappointment. Not even the show quality, because a bad show is just a bad show. It's the stigma from Disney Star Wars stuff that comes around it. I mean, I can't think of a positive Disney Star Wars experience I've had. Now, I'm not talking about the actual film, but I'm talking about the fans, the media, the internet bloggers, all that stuff. I've never had a positive experience. Like, people were jacked up about Infinity War. Oh, yeah, did you see Thanos? Yeah, I did. It was cool. And everybody was hyped and talking about it in theories. With Star Wars, they jump to the whole political spectrum, and you're just like, I don't want to deal with this today. So again, thank you, Disney Star Wars, the fans of Disney Star Wars, for letting me save my money, my consumer bucks, and going elsewhere, either saving them for whatever else I need to do, or just not buying your bullshit products. It's really convenient. The Pui, thank you very much. Morning, Jeff. Morning, the Pui. Let's see. Hideo Hugima says, just because they make a trailer no longer doesn't make this a pile of out-of-universe generic horse manure, less of a turd. Yeah, Hideo Hugima, it doesn't. It doesn't fix whatever. It's just another trailer based on the same show. It's the same content. I'm with you on that one. Just because they make the trailer longer doesn't make it better. Princess Leia's in the trailer. So you can't pull at my heartstrings. Carrie Fisher died 2 years ago. I've come to terms with it. You can't throw her in movies. You can't make her do all these things from the dead and make me go, oh man, Princess Leia, I gotta watch that. No, that's not how that goes at all. Let's see. Midnight Cherry TV, thank you very much. Extra spicy today, Jeff. You need an Axel F break. I do need an Axel F break. Big time. I'm not going to really deal with any bullshit today. That's never going to be never from Star Wars. Never from Star Wars. That's all I can say. Extra spicy is right. So, folks, the Star Wars trailer was just depressing, but the bigger implication is more of a problem. So, Jaron Ricewig, thank you very much. I'm glad you're seeing episode 9, so I don't have to. Yeah, I'm gonna go see episode 9, so you don't have to. It's not really a movie that I'm excited for. Episode 9 will not be, excited or be viewed by. Hold on. Brad Wilcox, thank you very much. Just ordered Stealing Solo today and saw Indy Jones Raiders last night for the first time, and I can thank you for inspiring me to do that, Jeff. Good movie. Brad Wilcox, we just saw Raiders of the Lost Ark for the first time. Damn. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. And not first off, because I've already spoke, but thank you for supporting Stealing Solo. You guys have seen, I've been releasing the artwork. I've been doing all kinds of stuff. I'm going to do some sketches over the weekend. It's going to be a lot of fun. So we've reached that goal. I'm not really going to. I don't know what else I can do. The anthology will be a stretch goal, so you guys can check out that comic too down the road. So let everybody know. Spread the word. It's going to be a good time. But Raiders of the Lost Ark, man, I remember the first time I saw that one because I saw Temple of Doom first, and I knew there was a clip of the boulder coming down. And I kept watching Temple of Doom thinking, I missed the boulder. And then I read the back of the box and it said that, After Indiana Jones saves the world in Raiders of the Lost Ark, he's back at Temple of Doom, thinking, "Oh, there's another one." So my grandma took me out to the mall and she bought it for me, and I loved it. And then I got Last Crusade a little bit later. It was one of those times where we rented a movie and never took it back to the store, but they didn't charge us because they didn't care. It was one of those little mom and pop video shops. And then I had the trilogy, and I watched the Indiana Jones trilogy religiously for years. So I'm so glad you enjoyed it, Brad Wilcox. I hope you go back and you watch Temple of Doom and The Last Crusade. Don't watch Indiana Jones 4. Don't watch Indiana Jones 4. And thank yourself for avoiding that one. But thank you again for picking up Stealing Solo. I appreciate the support and the faith you have in me. Marette Dioline, thank you very much for your super chat. And that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold says so. Imagine getting him on the World Class Bullshitter show. Imagine having Stone Cold on World Class Bullshitters. I feel like he would get along quite well with the guys. Dion, that's Dion's favorite wrestler. Dion would freak out. I'd be excited to see The Rock, meet The Rock, talk to him on the show. Stone Cold, I'd be very excited, but not as excited. Dion would probably be holding back the tears, like, "Oh my God, Stone Cold, Steve Austin here on the show." I'd be like, "Yeah, man. Yeah. I'd like it. He's always welcome." There is not a single, there's only one wrestler that is not welcomed on this show. And his name is CM Punk. Every other wrestler, independent, WWE, WCW, ECW, TNA, all welcome, not CM Punk. Why? Because he's an asshole that I've met one time, and he was not nice. Oh, man, if I could get Stone Cold on here to promote his podcast, would be a good day, a great day. Imagine doing a live stream with Stone Cold Steve Austin. I'm like, "All right, Steve, there are no limits on what you can talk about." The funny thing is, a lot of people would click on it because he's a celebrity, but most people would be like, "Can you stop talking about wrestling?" And I would honestly turn on my camera, look directly into it, and go, "We're talking to one of the biggest wrestlers of all time. We're not going to talk about Star Wars with Stone Cold Steve Austin." That's just, that's the bottom line. That's all I can say. That's the bottom line. Well, maybe we'll try. I'll try to get some wrestlers involved around WrestleMania time. I go to WrestleMania each year, so maybe I can get some interviews. Maybe I can, the WWE wouldn't have problems with us because I've never made an anti-WWE video, so I don't really go out of my way to shit on them. Maybe Stone Cold will be at WrestleMania and we'll ask him for an interview. Or anybody, Kenny Omega, who doesn't work for the WWE, New Japan, any wrestler. I'm going to shoot for that. Last year, we only had 25,000 subscribers at WrestleMania. We'll have 125 by the next WrestleMania, so. Let's see. So it's funny how we had, this Star Wars trailer come out, because it helped me find an article about this lady right here. This Star Wars Resistance actress posted video imitating, I'm not going to get into that. That's a little too political. I don't care about IO9 or Jezebel or Kotaku or any of these fucking garbage websites. The lady that worked on Star Wars said some political shit. Now people are making a fuss about it. You guys can check it out. It's not really a point that I want to discuss. But I do find it interesting that the Orlando Sentinel is coming out to talk about how the Force isn't what it used to be and Star Wars fatigue. I know there are excuses to some people. There are valid criticisms to others. But I just find it interesting that we live in the world where Star Wars comes out and it becomes shit so fast. So fast. So, folks, we have 390 viewers. Let's get 390 thumbs up. Help spread the word about Good Morning Pop Culture. Mareth Dioline, thank you very much for your super chat. If you get John Morrison on, I would squeal in joy. I like John Morrison. That's the reason I don't like CM Punk, because I had a John Morrison t-shirt and he started talking shit and said a couple other things. I'm like, you asshole. So I didn't really like him. But yeah, John Morrison's cool in my book. Johnny Mundo. So the Force is not with Disney and Star Wars. Now, I know this seems like an old topic to discuss, but maybe, now hear me out, just maybe, because this article came out on the 27th. So what are we at? What's today? The 29th, right? Yes. Oh, nope. Yesterday. So this article came out yesterday morning. So it's only a day old. So people are still talking about Disney Star Wars and how the Force is not with it. Whitley's World isn't necessarily the gold standard when it comes to media reporting, but Whitley's World also isn't an unreliable narrator. My point with this is now that Whitley's World, the Orlando Sentinel, basic news reporting that your average everyday person's going to read, not necessarily the oh my god, it's like Silent Hill outside my window. Not the people that are going to go on Twitter and try to start wars and dox people because they didn't like Star Wars and they're sexist. No, basic average everyday people are now coming out of the woodwork to say, Disney Star Wars hasn't been that smartly taken care of. So now this is when I know that it's really a real world issue and not just a fandom menace problem. Today's episode is more than just, hey, we saw that the people are trying to make excuses on the Star Wars Resistance trailer, and now we're scrambling in fear because they're pushing back. No, as the internet people push back, and it's funny, the pro Disney Star Wars blind loyalists are like always late to the party. Always. Like as soon as we're ready to do something else, it's like, oh, now this is Star Wars and it's so great and blah blah blah. It's like you guys want us to go away, but you constantly come back and bitch and try to start fights and place threats on Twitter and all this stuff. It's like we see what's going on. You guys, we're not doing anything there's no mass hypnosis. We're not conning anybody. We're just producing content that people like to enjoy, that critique the thing you think is great, but you can't emotionally or mentally handle it when people criticize it. And now something as basic as, level as the Orlando Sentinel is talking about this. This isn't a weird niche issue anymore. This is now, a news story. So I'm not going to read all of this because it basically covers Bob Iger's a little too much too fast point. And that's fine. But it says Disney is producing Star Wars movies about as fast as Frito-Lay makes Doritos. Audiences still like the movies, but they aren't gobbling up like they used to. Now, even though I disagree that audiences still like the movies, I mean, look at Solo. They admit that people aren't watching the same way they are. Disney is like Han Solo in the phrase, in that scene where, we're all fine here. Oh, thank you. How are you? Just denying everything. No, like they say in Die Hard, does the building have to fall around you to realize what's happening? So let's see. Disney calls it by its original name. Ford also calls its sports car the Mustang, but car aficionados know it can't compare to the 1964 and a half model. Before anyone orders an autopsy for the franchise, must be said that Star Wars funk is quite relative. Disney acquired Star Wars from George Lucas in 2012 for $4 billion and has been printing money ever since. Not really. The Force Awakens, we know how much The Force Awakens made. The downward trend continued to The Last Jedi, which only made $620 domestically. And the red light started to flash this summer when Solo, a Star Wars story, was released in May and rang up a mere $400 million. Well, here's the thing. At least they talk about the red lights, the red flags. Let's just never forget the negative connotation with the brand is what got us here. That's what got us here. Let's see. We're talking Star Wars here. Star Wars fatigue has many contributing factors like oversaturation, disjointed stories, and creative differences between directors. The original trilogy, Lucas put out one film every 3 years. Disney putting out 5 in 5 years. At least Iger belatedly realized there's something to the less is more approach. Disney's biggest Star Wars obstacle is beyond management's control. Demands of people, Star Wars beats Han Solo, Princess Leia, Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker, and the original gang. The first trilogy movie was magic. It became a cultural touchstone that's impossible to replicate. But they've tried. They've tried so hard and got so far. And 3 years in, it doesn't even matter. So he goes to talk on about Marvel films in the strategy. I think Disney was at a buffet. They hadn't eaten much and their eyes were big. They were hungry. They were ready to chomp down on some more properties to buy. So when it came to Star Wars, they're thinking, we just did the Avengers. Well, Paramount technically, but Avengers made $1 billion, third biggest film of all time. We've been pumping these movies out every year. Let's do it for Star Wars. It'll be the same. Guys, you loaded up your plate too much and stuff starts to fall off. Well, here we're gonna put a big old scoop of meat on there. Then we're gonna put a big scoop of potatoes, then some veg, then some more meat, then some more some veal. I don't know if I can. I don't eat veal, but you push it off to the side and stuff starts to overflow, and that's where we are. We've had an overflow with a lot of stuff, and then we bitch about it too. Like, oh, this restaurant's plates aren't big enough. It's the restaurant's fault that my food's coming off the side of the plate. It's your fault for being gluttonous, you bitch. Disney. That's really all there is to say about it. Their gluttony, their hubris, their ego will be their downfall. And no amount of keyboard warriors can come out in defense of this film and make it sound better. Oh my God, I love how people are talking about wrestling still. Yes, I'll interview the NWO, okay? The NWO is welcome on this channel. I just don't have a connection to them, guys. I just don't have a connection to them. But if you have a connection to the NWO, let me know. worldclassbs@mail.com. Thebestmail.com. So, it's funny how little the world of entertainment has going for it right now. I mean, we talked about Gambit's rom-com origins last night on the podcast. If you guys haven't had a chance to listen to last night's show, make sure you do. Oh my God. This seems kind of stupid. It's funny. We talk about SJW's doubling down and all this other stuff. Well, here's some doubling down for you. I didn't even know I was going to talk about this, but I am. Brace yourself. Make sure there's no coffee in your mouths. Murphy Brown revival premiere includes Hillary Clinton cameo. It's just what I always wanted. First off, Murphy Brown sucked in the 90s. That was one of those shows that I would see as a kid go, I hate this show. Hate this show. My grandma hated it. Everybody, we just turned it off instantly. Murphy Brown was that show. Candace Bergen, you may be all right in real life, but man, I hate Murphy Brown. And now we're going with Hillary Clinton on Murphy Brown. That's going to be interesting to say the least. It says Murphy Brown has never been able to turn down a good political cameo, and the premiere episode of the revival kicked things off with a big fish. Hillary Clinton, the premiere episode titled Fake News, aired on September 27th and marked the first episode of the series in nearly 20 years. So there's a lot of time to make up for. Oh my God, this is the only time we'll show the president and not president on this channel. Do you think in this show, I wonder do they do TV? Like, are there Rotten Tomatoes TV scores? Because I wonder what the score is for this thing. Let's see. Rotten Tomatoes TV shows. Because I'm interested to see if this fits into the theory. So let's see. Murphy Brown. I do not want to see Smallfoot. What do they say about Murphy Brown on here? 1988 too. So it has no score yet. All right. So, but it has been updated to show the new version of Murphy Brown. Let's see. Oh, never mind. I am wrong. So here it is right here. Murphy Brown season 11. It's got a whopping, and I mean a whopping, guys. Listen, look at the score. If you can count to 40, you've counted too high for Murphy Brown because there we go. 33% for Murphy Brown. There we go, right there. Let's see the consensus. This just in. While the nostalgia and wit are welcome, Murphy Brown's dated messaging tactics feel heavy-handed and smug, leaving the formerly formidably timely series feeling like a reboot reaching for the headlines. Oh, man, I was so wrong about what I thought was happening right now. Thank God that Murphy Brown got it right. Now we can all sleep at night. Oh, man. Hey, I guess I should give this 5 stars, right? No. Man, BoJack Horseman has 100%? Ugh. Yeah, it seems to not be getting the most positive of scores. And these scores come from both men and women who aren't giving it perfect passes. One guy and one lady. Nope, two guys and a woman gave it a fresh score, and then the rest were rotten, and those come from women as well as men. So media, you can't pull that sexist card for Murphy Brown either. Much like a what is another TV show out there that you think would have a terrible revival? I never once thought, man, Murphy Brown should come back, or I've never once thought Dave's World should come back. I mean, rest in peace, Harry Stone from Night Court, but still, there are a lot of late 80s, early 90s shows that just kind of stink and shouldn't come back. Night Court, they should have never brought back Night Court either. Well, they haven't, so thankfully. But there are so many possibilities for reboots. Like, we started the week off with Magnum PI, and it stunk. It just stunk. Terrible. No one was talking about it in a positive way. Oh, it's a bland action show at best. Yeah. Well, they destroyed the car they're trying to destroy. Oh, well, this is a sign we're going to destroy the past. Get woke, go broke. Yeah. I guess you could always make the point, well, Murphy Brown was always political and politically correct and this, that, and the other. I do remember, I think, yeah, it was Murphy Brown, the show where they got high or something. They smoked a joint. That was the first time I think I ever saw it on a TV show. Why did I watch so much Murphy Brown? I don't know. When I think of that, I think of being at my grandma's house, which is now our house, and her old giant TV that is somewhere in a dumpster. I don't know. We got rid of it. It's in a landfill somewhere. And it's just not a good time in my life to think back. Oh, God. Somebody's talking about bring back Mad About You. I never want to bring back Mad About You. I didn't like it back then either. I guess some people could make the argument, well, you were a kid when these shows were out, Jeff. You didn't understand them. So then what happens when I go back and watch them as an adult and I think they suck? Like, I don't like Seinfeld. I know people are like, oh, my God, that's blasphemous. That's the greatest show ever. Not to me. Not to me. Certain shows I have nostalgia for. Like, is every episode of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air perfect? Yes, it is. Every episode's perfect. But then you have your shows like Roseanne that come back, are saying something, and then get excised quicker than they came back. So I think we should get over this whole remake trend in TV and movies. You know, there's a difference between covering a song and remaking a TV show. To me, covering a song is like homage to a song you like, you want to perform yourself. It's music. It's a different thing. The TV/movie remake craze, reboot craze, is a lack of creativity. What are they doing with these movies that are different? You know, oh, we have different actors, we have different this, we have different that. It's like you make the movies to fit a political lens of whatever year you remake it in, but that doesn't make it good. Look at Total Recall. Fucking terrible. All right, the original one's one of the all-time great movies. One of Stallone, or not Stallone, I fucked up. One of Schwarzenegger's best. But we have Colin Farrell to replace him? I mean, when you think of Arnold Schwarzenegger, you think of, you know, big guns and action and muscles and intensity. And then you think of Colin Farrell and you think of what? Troy? In Bruges? Some really unlikable dude. He's like Russell Crowe, but, you know, not fighting around the world. Oh, God. Oh, I forgot there was a Will and Grace revival. Ugh. I don't know. It's just not a show for me either. Again, I was a kid. I didn't get it. Now, Friends really wasn't a show for kids either, and I watched it back in the day. I tried watching it again yesterday. No, thank you. So I'm glad I'm not the only people that didn't like Seinfeld. There are other people out there that get abused and disrespected for not liking the show about nothing. You know, we could spend today bitching about shows and stuff we don't like that are popular. I think that'd be a lot of fun. I don't like Seinfeld. My name is Jeff, and I do not like Seinfeld, and I'm not embarrassed to say it. You know what other shows I don't fucking like? I don't like MASH. I hate that show. You know, one year for Christmas, to pull a prank on my mom, I told her I bought her the MASH box set because I knew she hated it, and it got her really upset. And then when I gave her real gift, she got excited. That MASH is a punchline to me. People are like, well, it was so impactful back in the day. You know, that's great. But watching it as a kid in the 90s after The Simpsons, the show was dumb. I don't fucking like it. You know what show's old that I did like as a kid? All in the Family, The Jeffersons, stuff like that. Just, I didn't like MASH. Okay? Wasn't a fan. There are tons of other shows that were popular. You know what I'm going to do right now? Fuck it. I'm in this kind of mood. It's Friday. I'm not really with it. I've had a weird morning. It really looks like Silent Hill outside of my window. I'm a little spooked out. I'm getting ready for Halloween. I got 1,000,001 things going on in my mind. Let me talk about some shows. I'm going to pull up an article. The most popular TV shows of all time. and then I'm gonna talk about if I like them or not, and then you guys chime in. I'll be checking out what you have to say. So the most popular girl on TV or high school, the most popular TV shows ever. Okay, so we want to use the Google. List of most watched television broadcasts. No, I don't want to pick specific things. The Olympics. So we'll just use this Google search. The most popular TV shows ever. Not the most watched finales. Fuck. Okay. So let's do this together. I may win some friends. I may lose some friends. But at the end of the day, I'm always honest, and you can never say I lied to you guys. So here we go. Most popular TV shows ever. Game of Thrones. Only seen one episode. I don't dislike it. I'm just not a fan. Big Bang Theory. Fuck that show. Overrated, garbage. Do not like it. Friends. Don't like that show either. Not as offensive as The Big Bang Theory, but damn close. The Walking Dead. Started out great, got stupid. How many times can you scream Coral and expect me to get excited? When the wife died, I was happy. When Shane died, I was happy. You know what? When they're all dead, I'll be happy. That's when the show will be awesome to me, when there's nothing to watch. I'd rather watch a black screen than The Walking Dead. Our friend Brandon Moist wants to get involved with The Walking Dead. So we're going to have one of those very soon, Brandon, over the weekend. Not this weekend, but a weekend in October is when we'll have you on. So clear up your schedule, my friend. Breaking Bad. First show on this list that I fucking love. Breaking Bad, I thought deserved all the praise. It was a fun show, and I enjoyed it. Seinfeld. Not a fan. Again, may lose some friends. Don't care. I don't get it. I've watched it multiple times as a kid and as an adult. I don't get it. Like, I don't find it funny. I think the only one I ever laughed at was the Muffin Tops one because of the implication of, a trash bag full of muffin tops or bottoms and stuff. And I just was like, I get it. The Simpsons, I liked. I'm really not going to sit and shit on The Simpsons for hours. It's not what it used to be, but damn it. At one point in time, The Simpsons was a great show. Grey's Anatomy, never seen it. Sopranos, never seen it. Cheers. I fucking hate Cheers too. Cheers is a show I don't like. Loudy loves it, and that's cool, Loudy. You can be wrong about everything, Cheers included. But this is just another show that I watch, and I think to myself, I don't get the praise, the appeal. That's awesome that you like it. Remember, folks, if you like these things that I'm talking about, don't ever be embarrassed. Don't ever feel like I don't appreciate you guys being on the show, being involved with everything. These are my opinions. They're very strong opinions. But if you're into it, don't ever feel like you're not welcome here. MASH, again, hate the show. I talked about it earlier. Fuck it. The Office. I've warmed up to The Office. At first, I didn't get the hype. Then I started watching more of it a couple years ago, and I enjoyed it, but I'm not an Office fan. Stranger Things. I'm right in the middle. There are some great moments in Stranger Things, but there are also some, I don't know. And it's nothing to do with SJW politics or any of that nonsense shit. It's just there are some elements of Stranger Things that are a little too heavy-handed and dumb. Like that episode where Eleven goes to Chicago. That's one of the worst TV episodes I've ever seen. This Is Us, never watched it, but I'm never going to watch it because it looks stupid. Modern Family, never watched it. I do like Sofia Vergara, but never watched it. The Wire, fantastic TV show. It's some serious shit right there. Orange is the New Black. Started out great, got stupid, got preachy. I stopped as they were about to have the riot in the prison. So I can't. All in the Family. I liked that show as a kid. Golden Girls reminds me of my grandma, so I have good feelings towards the Golden Girls. NCIS, never watched it. Doctor Who. When David Tennant was the Doctor, it was one of my favorite things to watch. Eccleston was great. Matt was pretty good too. But my God, when David Tennant was the Doctor and all those episodes were shown up on BBC America about 5 o'clock on weekdays, I'd go over to Joel's, have fun. Maybe I like Doctor Who because of hanging out with Joel, eating Chipotle, having a good time reading comic books. Maybe that's where it stems from. Maybe I don't really like Doctor Who. Then again, maybe the Blu-ray box sets and action figures and other merchandise say differently. Westworld, haven't seen it, want to. Like the movie, though, a lot. House of Cards, didn't watch it. Frasier, another show I didn't like, still don't like. Maybe I should go back and give it one more chance, but no. Family Guy, used to be awesome, not anymore. Cosby Show, fuck him, fuck that show. You're a piece of shit, Bill Cosby. The Flash, Started to watch it, gave up on it. Law and Order, didn't watch it. X-Files, like it a lot. Parks and Rec, never seen it. SNL, depending on what's going on in the real world, SNL can be funny or really repetitive and fucking dumb. It's just, I can't get into like the same skits every week. 90s SNL is the best SNL. If you say early SNL days, I respect you, and we'll have that discussion. You may be 100% right. I may be 100% right. It's all about perception. But I think we can all agree that modern SNL is just stupid and unwatchable. Star Trek: The Next Generation, not as good as the original. Here, I'm going to quote a movie. Let's see if you guys can figure this out. I'll be thoroughly impressed. It's a lot like Star Trek: The Next Generation. In many ways, it's superior, but it'll never be as recognized as the original. If you can get that, you'll get a shout out on the show. Happy Days, okay, I guess. South Park is now the fucking moral compass of TV. How the hell did South Park go from poop jokes and Mr. Hanky and Giant Barbra Streisand to being the most relevant, poignant TV show on the air? I don't know, but thank God we have a show like South Park. PC Principal and all that crap is way scarier than it is funny, but it's still funny. Arrow, don't like it. Arrested Development. My mom used to like that show. It's okay. I'm not really a big fan. Everything else on here I haven't seen, so I'm not going to bore you with reading a list. But, again, I've never... Oh, Roseanne. Hated it, liked it, hated it again. I don't know. Kind of a weird... Okay, so... Let's see. I'm trying to catch up with the chat. Sorry, guys. I've been kind of angry about just, I don't know, the pushback. Let's see. Brad Wilcox, thank you very much for your super chat. Rey doing the Jedi mind trick was my first red flag with the sequel trilogy. My dislike for it festered from there. Glad I found your review of The Force Awakens. Brad, I'm very glad that you found it as well, too. Now, any other character that gets criticized would just be like, oh, well, yeah, it wasn't that good. But because it was Star Wars and it was a female lead and they thought they were being progressive, they were trying to defend her as a character. That was one of my first problems, too. Okay, so Brad, I know you've been here since the beginning. A lot of people haven't. I mean this from the bottom of my heart, and I'm not bullshitting you guys. The moment the crawl hit with the Star Wars theme, I was like, this sounds weird. It sounded hollow and flat. And you could hear me talk about that with Michael from Retro Blasting. And then when we got the do I talk, do you talk line, I went, I don't like this already. And then it progressively got worse and proved my point constantly that this isn't Star Wars. This is Disney Star Wars. And Disney Star Wars doesn't get it. There's a beautiful poetry to the original films. There's this magic. There's this deeper story above, beneath the lightsabers and all that spaceship stuff. There's a story of humans, fathers, sons, families, relationships, all this stuff. This new Star Wars isn't that. They can buy all this shit. They can buy the tangibles, but they can't create the intangibles. The things that make Star Wars, that make it not Star Trek, not Buck Rogers, not Stargate, not any of that stuff. Disney Star Wars doesn't have that. And I saw it right away. And thankfully, a lot of people found what I had to say, and they sympathized, and they continued to check out this channel. But, we're not the ones who changed. Star Wars was. Let's see, lots of people talking about the TV shows. I'm glad everybody seems to like The Wire. I'm glad that's the kind of one we can all agree upon. I don't need my TV shows to be deadly serious, but you can make a TV show about relations and stuff and make it be excellent. I don't need to watch Blackish or all those shows to get a show about the black community. I don't need to watch a show about criminals either. You can watch a show about a positive black family. We've been watching them for decades. I guess personally, I'm to a point where a black family and a white family really don't matter. It's just a family. I don't try to pick apart what makes us different. I just, people that get together. I've been to black family reunions. I've been to white family reunions. They've both been fun. They've been different, but they've been fun. The food was a lot better at the black family reunions because at the white family reunions, they just make like pans of mastacholi and they cheap out. When you go to the black family reunions, it's usually a barbecue and they don't cheap out. There's all kinds of good food. So that's the big difference for me, quality of food. But I can't really pick apart my family too much because Most people are good cooks. My mom's an excellent cook. If you met me, you'd know that. My aunt is a great cook. My grandma used to be great. She's old now. My uncle's pretty damn good cooks too. So it's a family thing. If anybody's ever dying of hunger, find me. We'll feed you. You'll enjoy it too. We have like 5 pounds of bacon in the fridge right now. Okay, so I'm seeing Wayne's World pop up in the chat. So let's see. Who's the first person to get Wayne's World? Okay, so John Monaco wins the shout out. So John Monaco, you are the listener of the day here on Good Morning Pop Culture. So ladies and gentlemen, let's press 1 to pay our respects to John Monaco, who's still alive, thankfully. Just a very astute listener and a very big fan of Wayne's World. So it's safe to say that John Monaco has good taste. Now, Brian Nearon, you were moments after John. So I've met you, Brian. You're a nice dude. So you got a thumbs up from me as well. Okay, so people are loving SNL, hating SNL. Oh, somebody said, Klaus Dork, you said Wayne's World 2? Oh, man. Oh. All right, everyone's showing their love for our friend John Monaco. Let's see, GrendelFan84. Thank you very much for your super chat. Jeff, I mentioned it before, but check out Boss with Kelsey Grammer. Arguably Kelsey Grammer's greatest work and is a prototype for a Lex Luthor TV show. Okay, GrendelFan84, you did tell me that, and I forgot to look, so let me pull out my magical list that's written on the back of an SH Figure Arts piece of paper, and I'll write Boss, Kelsey, Grammer. All right, watch it. I'll see about finding it soon. I'll take your advice. You haven't steered me wrong before, man, so... guys, if you have recommendations out there and they're consistently good, after, I don't know, 1 or 2, I'll just instantly watch whatever you guys say. Like, hey, Jeff, watch Boss from Kelsey Grammer. Well, okay, I will, because you've given me nothing but good advice in the past. The 4 should disown Ray. You damn right they should. They should. Or it should. Or is it she? We're not going to get into that. People are talking about Firefly. I've never seen Firefly. I'm not a Joss Whedon fan. I don't like his style. Him doing the Avengers was a stretch for me. That's about it. So, yeah, the TV show, what an odd way to spend Friday morning talking about TV shows that are popular that I thought sucked or weren't, that bad. Now, let me talk about a couple guilty pleasures. Now, these are shows that I admit are trash, have never been good, but I love them either as a kid or as an adult. I watched them. So, first off, Full House. Full House is a terrible, terrible TV show. It has never been good, okay? It has never been good. Don't listen to 5-year-old Jeff, who's busy playing with Power Rangers and watching Full House. That was my 90s. Nothing made me happier than getting home from school on a Friday, watching Power Rangers, playing with the toys, having a good dinner, and then sitting down to watch TGIF. That's what we did in the 90s, Nowadays, we go on riverboat gambling trips, we shit with the door open, we make our own beef jerky. That's what we do. But back then, we watched Full House, and I'm embarrassed to say I watched every episode as a kid. Dude, like I'm talking to one person. I'll never forget when it hit Nick at Night in the early thousands. I was like, man, Full House is back on. I want to watch this. And I did, and I regretted it, but I stuck through it all because the early episodes are shitty. When the kids get to be a little older, I guess they're better. Because Baby Michelle can only shit her pants so much before I stop finding it cute and endearing. Chris Wicks, thank you very much for your super chat. Disney don't get Star Wars lore, can't replicate magic. That's true. I don't think there's a creative person. I could talk about Star Wars shit forever. We talk about it all the time. I think the reason why it has such a big audience is because Star Wars has such a big audience, and the people that feel betrayed by Disney Star Wars all have different reasons, all equally valid, though. Earlier this week, we lost Gary Kurtz. I'm not going to all of a sudden act like George Lucas is a monster because, Return of the Jedi is not as good as Empire and A New Hope, and Star Wars dipped in quality because of a lack of Gary Kurtz. I'm not going to all of a sudden try to demonize George Lucas, but I'm also not going to make him a hero because Disney Star Wars sucks. George Lucas has achieved a lot. He deserves the praise he gets. He also deserves the criticism he gets. So let me say that with that out of the way, You don't have a visionary, a creative mind, um, a visual storyteller like George Lucas. Yeah, the prequels aren't great, but they have really awesome visuals. You can't even say that about the new Disney stuff. I know a lot of people, the one criticism, or the one piece of praise they tried to give the new ones are like, well, you may not like The Last Jedi, but it's visually the most appealing Star Wars movie. I'm like, no, it's not. It's got a big, bright red room, and they fight, and they don't even fucking CGI the lightsabers properly. How is that visually appealing? The greatest visual comes from when Luke dies. You know what? It's a callback to the best moment in Star Wars, where Luke looks off into the sunset and longs for a better thing. Lucas may not be a great editor. He's not a great director of people, but he's a visual storyteller, and he knows how to tell a good story. He knows myth. He knows the human condition better than anybody else. Disney is a bunch of suits. When you have a corporate takeover of something that is independently owned, you have Disney Star Wars. There's no desire to tell a great story. Stealing Solo isn't a cash grab. It's for me to tell a story. It's twofold. One, I want to tell a Star Wars story that is, a response to how I feel. It's a cathartic event for me to tell that story, to get it out in the world, to help make light of a bad situation in terms of entertainment for me. That's what that story is. But it's also a chance for me to say, hey, I can do this. I've wanted to do this. I'm better than people will give me credit for. Here's my work. Check it out. It's not just, hey, whatever. Disney Star Wars is, hey, I need whatever. I want money. I want to do it now. I don't care if it's original or it's derivative. It's me. It's mine. I bought it. Now I want to make as much money from it as possible. I get that it's a business, but don't expect us to buy into the magic in the lore when it's not there. Star Wars lasted for 40 years. Well, not 40, 30, what? Not even 30, 35 years before Disney came in. Let's not forget that. It won't last 5 more years the way Disney's doing it. Oh, a lot of people are popping in. Let's see. So Chris Wicks, yep, that was what I was talking about. A lot of people shitting on Full House, Fur House. I mean, have you seen Uncle Jesse's hair? I don't know who I like more. Well, Uncle Jesse's everybody's favorite TV uncle. No, Uncle Phil. All right, do me a favor, folks. In the chat, press 1 for Uncle Phil, 2 for Uncle Jesse. Who would you rather have as an uncle? I'm going with Uncle Phil. Because Uncle Phil doesn't like Elvis. He doesn't try to sing to you. He'll take you in, let you live under his roof, treat you like one of his kids. He'll call you on your bullshit when you're wrong, but he'll treat you good. And he doesn't have 2 annoying kids that are twins. He just has 3 annoying kids: Hillary, Carlton, and little Ashley. So let's see. Brad Wilcox says, I think I missed my other super chat being read. Rest in peace. Oh, you read. Let's see. I'll go back. I'm positive I read it, Brad, because you sent it. I believe this is your 3rd. But because we had a moment and you just discovered Raiders of the Lost Ark last night for the first time, let me go back and read it to make sure that it wasn't my mistake. Because I know this sounds a little eccentric, or excuse me, a little extreme, but good movies bring people together. And I'm not overestimating that. Really, good movies bring people together. The original Star Wars brought a lot of us together. I believe our love for the original stuff has brought all of us together. All 407 of us watching right now. It helped build a community. So maybe, this is just me joking around for a minute, but I do mean it. A good movie brings people together. So let's see. Brad Wilcox, did you miss the Jedi mind trick one? The Rey doing the Jedi mind trick was my first red flag of the sequel trilogy. My dislike for it festered from there. Glad I found your Force Awakens review. If that's the last one you missed, because I know I read this Indiana Jones one, but thank you very much, Brad. I appreciate the support either way. But Claustoric says, disappointed, Jeff, but still got a shout out. Yes. Well, Claustoric, maybe that was the point you were trying to make. Still respect you. Glad you're here. Love your Power Ranger icon. Me here, you there says, I still think this SJW identity politics is racist. They think minorities need protecting, that minorities can't become much without their help. Do you? I do find it to be a tad off-putting, because by their definition, I fit into that category. I am a minority that they need to protect. Well, I have made it without the protection of the SJW crowd. The SJWs didn't help me get through college. They didn't help me get the good grades I did, all that stuff. I found I find it a little offensive. I hate to say it's offensive because I don't care if people are offended. I find it I find it in bad taste to think that they're helping. And I don't want to say us to make it an us versus them dynamic, but these good Samaritan in quotation, these bleeding hearts that are out there thinking they're working for the greater good, all they're doing is just causing problems for people because at the end of the day, me here, you there, they're separating us. Dion and I and Nick and Kenda, we're all friends. We don't look at each other as, I don't say Dion's my black friend, Nick is my Samoan friend, wink, wink, and Kenda's my white friend. I go, they're all my best friends. They're Dion is my best friend, not my black friend. I always find it funny when people on the internet try to say like, oh, a bunch of angry white guys and the one token black dude, this, that, and the other. I'm like, my best friend's black. I have no problem with anybody of any color, but they try to marginalize minorities to try to build up a cause. I think at the end of the day, all this SJW shit is about control. Control. You must learn control or use control. What Yoda says. You can't keep tearing apart the community. You go to a comic book store, there are people of every color there. I know for me, I'm not white, but I don't feel out of place at my local comic book shop. I don't feel out of place anywhere due to skin color. I don't care. The only places that I've ever felt that skin color may have been an issue was at Horror Hound, where it's a different type of people. It's very, but I don't let that get me down. Like I say to Dion, we're pilgrims in an unholy land when we go to Horror Hound. We got to play their game. We got to go do whatever because the horror community is a vastly white thing. But they're very, I don't know. Nick has definitely seen that shit there too. But I don't like the SJW thinking mentality that they're helping minorities by doing what they do. If the 80s have proved anything, one of your biggest stars can be black. Look at Michael Jackson. All jokes aside about him being crazy or weird or whatever he did or didn't do, Michael Jackson was born black. Michael Jackson became the king of pop. If the world was truly full of nothing but terrible racist people that kept minorities down, Michael Jackson wouldn't have been the biggest star of the fucking decade. Prince, another fantastic musician. Rick James. Even if we go into the acting realm with Eddie Murphy, Danny Glover, Carl Weathers, all kinds of big action stars and actors, comedians, Richard Pryor, Red Fox, all these people. The entertainment playing field had been level for decades of maybe there are some backroom dealings and shit that we don't know. But generally, if everybody was this racist, sexist community, people from every walk of life, different races couldn't make it, but they can. It's just about what's good, what's not good. Disney Star Wars isn't shit upon because it has a white woman in the lead or a Jewish guy's directing or a woman's the president of the company. No, they're fucking terrible creative choices that are being made. That's what it's being criticized for. So these people need to get off of their high horse, no Dion pun intended, and they need to stop fighting the good fight for the minorities. Look, everybody's equal to a lot of people out there. Just don't make it about the race. Don't separate yourself. I can't stand that shit. Green Lantern. When you say John Stewart Green Lantern, I don't go to myself and think, oh, the black Green Lantern, he's whatever. No, I think of, oh, he's the Green Lantern from the cartoon. John Stewart doesn't need to be the black Green Lantern. Like Neil Adams made a point. I know you don't know who Neil Adams is, but Neil Adams is one of the biggest comic book artists of all time. It created Ra's al Ghul with Denny O'Neil, revolutionized Batman, one of the all-time greats. And I've worked for him. Not the nicest guys, but still one of the all-time greats. Neil Adams named him John Stewart, and he's talked about this on the Kevin Smith podcast. He said he didn't want to give him a black-sounding name. He wanted to make him just like everybody else that happened to be a black dude. So his name's John Stewart. When you think John Stewart, you probably think The Daily Show with John Stewart. That's fine. A lot of people will go comic book John Stewart. But he's like, I didn't name him Isaiah Washington or something. He gives a specific name. Like, I think he says, I didn't name him Abraham Washington for a reason because I didn't want him to sound stereotyped. I wanted him to just sound like everybody else who just happens to be a black guy. And I think that is the best approach to all this stuff. It's not about separating or anything. Like Axel Foley. That's a cool-ass name. You could have a white guy named Axel. You know what I'm saying? Eddie Murphy. That sounds like a very white name. It doesn't matter. It's it's what they do that sets them apart, and their race isn't really it. I don't think of Eddie Murphy as a great black comedian. At one point, I just thought of him as a great comedian, great actor. Loved the dude to death. I don't think of Prince. When I think of Prince and Jimi Hendrix, I don't say the best black guitar players. I just say the best guitar players in general. Jimi Hendrix is the best. I mean, you have different opinions. I'm not saying that you have to agree with Jimi Hendrix being the best, but it's not his color that makes him great, and it's not his color that makes him different. It's that he just knew how to rock the fuck out and was awesome. So I do, me, hear you there. I know this was a long way to talk about your super chat, but I don't like this whole protected status thing that they try to feel good about themselves. Oh, we're really helping women and minorities in roles. Are you though? Because we've had women and minorities in roles for decades that just, were there because they're all fine. Believe me, we're not like we used to be. But there's also some weird racist stereotypes that come into play from the other side that kind of get lumped into entertainment that cause people problems. Like I told you, my mom gets kind of mad when she sees how they portray a interracial couple with a black guy and a white woman. She's like, yeah, they're always like making it, about certain things, but if it's a white guy and a black woman, it's about love. I'm like, okay, Mom. She's like, you don't realize what I went through. I'm like, I get it, Mom, whatever. But even we're so far removed from that. You should be thankful, everybody. Sorry. Anyway, Jonathan Fortin, thank you very much. Uncle Jesse, just so I'm not related to Hillary. Hillary Banks was hot. She still looks pretty good to this day. What's her name? Karen Parsons. But if I'm going by the hot women of the 90s on TV, Hillary Banks is up there pretty high. I mean, she's not. Is Pamela Anderson still hot? Not anymore. Was she? Yeah. I don't know. We're not going to get into that. Sorry. But yeah, Jeff, you want to say Uncle Jesse so there's no Hillary Banks. But yeah, the money, man. I'm saying, if you think about the money. Chris Mickick, thank you very much for your super chat. Disney doesn't realize that originals have heart and Legends has better characters and stories, and they've made crap from perfection. You have to give Disney all the credit in the world that they've been able to tank a franchise in record time and just alienate so many people. Isn't that impressive? Shouldn't we build them up and say, guys, Disney, good job. Participation awards for everybody. You fucked it up, all right? Max fucked it up for everybody. Party's over. Disney fucked it up for everybody. I've thrown out some really obscure movie references this morning. I don't know. I'm in that kind of mood. It's Friday. I want to have fun. I want to drink this coffee, get to drawing comics, eat some breakfast. I'm having a good time, though. I hope you're having as much fun listening to me as I'm talking to you. It's a group. It's a group dialogue. It's digital, but it's different. And down the road, when I can get the call-ins worked out, we're going to get that taken care of too. But Chris, the originals do have heart. And I know it sounds crazy, but they have magic. There's something about when artists and writers and everybody, let's just call them artists, a group of artists come together, the best artisans create a product, and everyone's firing on all cylinders. You get The Empire Strikes Back, you get Star Wars. Then when corporate decisions and money comes into play, when money is the number one factor, you get Return of the Jedi. Now, Return of the Jedi has the benefit of following the two of the greatest movies ever made, and therefore some of that has to rub off onto it. You can't just about face and change it. But with Disney Star Wars, they did. Disney Star Wars was a result of a couple things. They were afraid of the prequel backlash, which they've created an even bigger backlash, ironically enough. And they want to push out something that's so similar to the originals that they want people to feel like they're watching the originals, even though they're not. People are smarter than they want to give them credit. And then they just try to put in the social politics, and they date the movies even more. There is no social politics in terms of, we're not fighting a race war in the original Star Wars movie. And they're not. The funny thing, too, is that they make the minority characters come off as bad by making Poe a joke. I find it I don't find it offensive, but I find it like, why can't the black dude just be a hero? Lando was a hero. I know he doesn't have to be the funny guy. He was a little smooth. He was going after Leia. Then you find out he's a traitor, and then he redeems himself and destroys the second Death Star. If that's not a black lead, I don't know. Or he's a supporting character. He's a supporting character much like everybody else that's not Han, Luke, or Leia, or Darth Vader. So Lando was on equal footing 40 years ago. Let's not forget that. Ricky Radio, thank you very much for super chat. I believe you're new. In the first 6 Star Wars movies, you felt the Force. You watched the Jedi driven by it as it twirled, and they fought. The Last Jedi the Last Jedi, the Force feels like a parlor trick. Well, like Yoda said, Ricky, it's an energy, or Obi-Wan said it's an energy force that surrounds us, binds us, whatever, the universe together. The Force, Disney's treatment of the Force is like Han Solo's treatment of the Force in the first movie when he goes, "Hokey religions and ancient weapons are no match for a good blaster at your side, kid." Disney doesn't believe in the Force. Disney doesn't get it. I think Disney's afraid of the religious implications with Star Wars. They don't want to offend the Chinese market. They don't want to offend the atheism movement online. They don't want to offend. But then they offend the biggest group of the fans. Maybe you don't want the religious implications. I get it. Sometimes stand away from religion. It's a touchy subject. We don't talk about it on the channel. We've talked more about politics than we have religion because religion's a different thing for everybody. But I believe firmly that that was their decision corporately. Is it a good one? No. The Force as a religion works. Your devotion to that ancient religion hasn't conjured up any stolen data tapes or whatever. Admiral Mahdi says to Darth Vader on the Death Star, "I find your lack of faith disturbing." Those moments hit us. Even if you don't believe in the same religion as other people, you believe in something. So you believe in yourself or your parents or something. And there doesn't have to be a church involved or a community, rallying around said faith, but you believe in something. Disney, Star Wars, and even to a degree, the prequels don't have that faith element to it. And it's not a religious faith. It's just a belief in oneself, like Luke Skywalker, has faith in himself. He believed in the Force, which is himself. It's that energy force. He believed in himself to complete the Death Star run, the trench run. With Disney Star Wars, they just, the Force, blah, 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 blah. And it's just the Force is a buzzword to get your ears to perk up and go, I remember when Obi-Wan explained it in the hut. I'm supposed to be feeling that. When Han Solo goes, it's true, all of it. No. It's so hard for Disney to make Star Wars because Star Wars represents everything Disney is not. Listen to George Lucas talk about it. I would say, he's like, I wanted to fight the system, and I eventually became the system myself. But Star Wars was an attempt to become autonomous from the Hollywood studio to tell your own story, to do filmmaking a different way. Well, then he sold it to the biggest studio, and it became everything he hated. Darth Vader. The Star Wars movies were Anakin Skywalker at one point, good and pure with some flaws. Then he became Darth Vader when sold to Disney. He became the thing he hated. And eventually he'll be redeemed by his son, all of us, where Vader died to redeem himself. Disney Star Wars has to die to redeem itself. Be repurchased by Lucas, which ain't going to happen, or they take the break and they let people appreciate it, or you just get the whole Kathleen Kennedy regime out, and then you start anew. And that's Anakin coming back as a Force ghost at the end of Return of the Jedi. He's been reborn through the Force. He's redeemed. He's a good man once again. And though he did these terrible things, Luke Skywalker will take his name and try to do good. Or he'll run away to a fucking jungle island thing and whine and drink green titty milk. I don't know. But the analogy worked up until you realize that The Last Jedi sucks. Thank you, Ricky Radio. Darth Tiberius says, headed home from work. Love this channel. Darth Tiberius, we love you right back, man. We appreciate all the time you spend here on the channel. Lots of people out there right now. It was funny. I was thinking about the growth earlier. I'm just thinking, man, I'm really lucky and really fortunate that there are a lot of people out there that like what we do. So thank you to everybody. Darth Tiberius, thank you very much as well. Mupti, that's a name I haven't read in a long time. At least there are plans to have Lando do DJ's role in The Last Jedi fell through. Good. I love it when a plan falls apart for Disney. I hope their streaming service never launches. I hope their Disney Star Wars park just literally falls apart. No one's hurt. I don't wish a single bad thing to happen to a single human being, but I hope their park just, the weather changes the soldering and it falls apart. All those welds just, boop, oh no, the Millennium Falcon fell apart. Is anybody hurt? Nope, not at all. How did it happen? Magic. Disney magic. Woo! Mupti, Lando being in episode 9 worries me because they literally have disrespected every character. And even Leia, which when they're going for this whole female movement in entertainment, they've made Leia something that she's not. They have disrespected her. I love Princess Leia. She's my favorite female fictional character. Why are we still looking at this Google screen? She's my favorite fictional character that's a female. They took her and made her into a joke. Han Solo was a bad father who ran away from responsibilities and was a joke. Luke Skywalker ran away from responsibilities and couldn't even fight a fucking battle. They took the most heroic man in the galaxy and made him a bitch. And they took Princess Leia, the most heroic chick in the galaxy, and made her a joke. Oh, she flies through the Force. You know, it's due to respect and this and that. Look, Lando, it's the Lando show for Episode 9. And goodbye, Lando. Billy D, you're the smoothest motherfucker in the galaxy. You're the only dude that can outcool Batman in a scene, even though they don't share the screen together. But Billy D is the coolest dude in that movie. The fucking cigar and the ghosts and goblins line and all that shit. Cool dude. But Lando is on his way out. Lando will probably die in this film. No, you know what? Lando may not die. Let me take that back. I think they'll try to prop up Lando as, hey guys, we disrespected the old characters, but Lando's back and now he's going to be still cool. You see? The only Lando thing I could get excited for is if they went to Cloud City in hopes of help, but he left Cloud City. He up and left and never went back. So really, we're just trying to regurgitate more shit. I'm sorry, I can't think about Episode 9. I get really upset. But thank you, Muppety. Cesare Japan, thank you very much again. Can't wait for Hollywood to mess up the late 90s syndication like Baywatch, Babylon 5, Jack of All Trades, Cleopatra 2525, Hercules and Xena, and other shows. Oh, man. I hope they never... You know what? Dion and I would go see Hercules, The Legendary Journeys, the movie, twice opening night. But they'll never recapture that magic. And by magic, I mean shitty 90s effects. They say you can't go home again, which is very true, but I can visit the place. When I watch Hercules, The Legendary Journeys, there's just this sense of, I'm a kid again. It's not the best show. It wasn't even good back then. And it wasn't even a big defining moment in my life. But I just remember watching it. It was on at like 5 o'clock every day. I think it was 4 o'clock. 4 or 5 o'clock, channel 64. And I just remember being excited by it. And then I watched it with Dion, and it's like, man, I feel the same way. It's okay. But I'm glad you brought up Hercules, The Legendary Journeys. I've never heard of Jack of All Trades or Cleopatra 2525. But Cesare Japan, listen to this right here. If you can hear that sound, that's what it sounds like when the bottom of the barrel is being scraped. And Disney is there, or Hollywood's there right now. I mean, guys, wait till we get a Different Strokes reboot where Arnold is now a black girl and Willis is a Hispanic girl and Mr. Drummond is, I don't know, Asian. And look, Different Strokes is not a great show, but it works for what it is. You know, the whole the culture clash. They weren't afraid to do certain culture clashes back in the day. Look at Archie Bunker. They would never make a show like that, but it's funny. Even though what he is, racist and at times, him and George Jefferson could both come together over hating the same thing. The 70s at a certain point really was on the ball in terms of race relations and making fun of the situation, but being realistic about, the atmosphere, the climate. Nowadays, we act like either no positive movement has happened, no forward progression, or we act like it's this weird fake utopia. Look, when I say, everyone can make it, they can. Not everybody's as good as, some of these people that have made it big. But again, it's not as bad as they say, and it's not as great as they act at times, but it's better than the average piece of modern entertainment likes to make it, like it's represented. But my God, if they've already messed up Baywatch. Babylon 5, a lot of people would be upset over that. People are talking about Blazing Saddles. Was Baywatch ever good? No, it was never good. Briscoe County Jr. Fuck yeah. We could watch that stuff. So I don't know. Did everyone out there listen to last night's podcast? There was a little bit of a technical issue where our timing was off because Google Hangouts was just slightly off. I didn't like last night for that, but we had a really good show. It got strong at the end. We actually had one of our better endings of a show. That's why it went extra long. But I just want to bring up a point real quick. for anyone who didn't hear this on last night's show that likes Halloween, the holiday, not the film, because we love the movie. But you can hear me getting the calendar out. Excuse my paper. So starting on Monday, guys, we're going to start celebrating Halloween. So on Monday, the patrons, you guys are going to get a Halloween, just a little video about how we talk about our Halloween live stream and how we discuss, what we're going to do. So if you're a patron, you're going to get that. But also on Monday, we're going to make public of the list of the films we're watching, because on Halloween, we're having an all-day stream from the 31st into the 1st. It's like a 17-hour stream we figured out. So if you guys like Halloween and stuff like that, we're going to treat it like a drive-in where we're going to do the Joe Bob Briggs stuff. We're going to talk about, drive-in totals, how many kills, how many boobs are in this movie, X, Y, and Z. It's going to be a very fun day. We're going to be having beer and food and just relaxing, and it's an all-day stream. So if you have the day off, if you have the free time, or you want to get involved at night when it gets dark and the spookiness comes out, join us. We're saving some of the better movies for night. Yeah, we have some fun schlocky stuff and some good stuff to start the day out with. But we are, I'll put it like this. I won't tell you guys the list, but I'll tell you this. We're saving Halloween for when it gets dark outside. So if you're on the East Coast, or at least Eastern Standard Time, when it comes time to watch Halloween, it's going to be dark out and it'll be a little spooky because Michael Myers may get you, ooh, and all that other stuff. But we have a lot of that. And our Wednesdays, our live streams, every Wednesday in October is going to have a fun themed live stream. So we're going to have, I can't tell you yet. Well, no, I'll tell you. This coming Wednesday, we're doing movie curses. Not creepypasta curses, but like movie curses. We're talking about poltergeist and how everyone died. The girl got a weird disease and stuff like that. So it's going to be a fun, spooky month in October. And like I said, though, I'm not going to I'll still make the regular videos, and we'll still have all the other stuff. So don't worry. Don't check out for the month of October if you only want to hear us talk about geek culture, because that'll be here as well. But we love Halloween. It's one of the best. It is the best holiday. Christmas is fun. Halloween's better. As a kid, you get candy. As an adult, you get drunk. So be prepared for that. It's going to be a lot of fun in October. And on the 14th, if you're a patron, make sure you guys are available, because we're doing our Twilight Zone live stream with the patrons. And we'll try to get some patrons involved in some more stuff too. So if you guys like Halloween, make sure you don't miss anything we do in October, because we've done other stuff for Schlocktoberfest, but this year it's going to be even better. We finally have Kendo and Nick and everybody, and we're all firing on all cylinders, and we're really excited. The channel has evolved into something even better than it ever was, and so we can treat Halloween with the respect we feel it deserves. Would I watch foreign horror movies? Of course I would. I like foreign movies. Now, certain ones I thought were dumb, but I do enjoy a good giallo flick, the Italian ones with the bright red blood and the beautiful naked women and all that stuff. I'll watch those. I'm guilty. Grendel fan says, ready for Twilight Zone and Tales from the Crypt. Oh yeah, Grendel fan, since you want to be involved with those, the 17th is the Tales from the Crypt night, so I'll make sure that you're available. Kendo will not be available, so you're going to be our replacement Tales from the Crypt bullshitter for that evening. And then you're invited for the Twilight Zone one as well on the 14th. So you know how to contact me outside of the show. I'll make sure that you're on that for sure. But it's going to be fun, guys. We're talking about Twilight Zone, Stephen King, slasher flicks, all kinds of stuff. And we're going to be doing live streams when the guys come into town. Yes, it's going to be the closing out days of Stealing Solo, so we're going to be promoting as well. But it's just going to be the best month we've ever put out. People say, oh man, last year was crazy when The Last Jedi came out. You got all these views. Yeah, it was great. The views were great. But the passion and the content is going to be unmatched this October. So starting Monday, do not miss a single thing we do. Get it in your calendars, write it on your hand, tie a piece of string around your finger so you don't forget. Whatever you do not miss out on October for Schlocktoberfest. Oh, we have done Tales from the Hood here on the channel. So if you'd like to hear our commentary on that, I love Tales from the Hood. I think it is a very poignant but very great horror film. And if you want to call it a black horror film, I even say in the thing, why don't they do more stuff like this? Get Out was preachy and heavy-handed in a bad way. Tales from the Hood had some really interesting points to make about domestic abuse, police brutality, stuff like that, without becoming heavy-handed and preachy. Maybe because of the product, the time it came out in. But I think Tales from the Hood is a lot of fun. For anthology flicks, it's one of my favorite. Tales from the Dark Side, we discussed that too. You'll just have to listen to some of that stuff later on. Darth Tiberius says, I want a proper Star Wars horror movie, no zombies. I would watch a Star Wars horror flick if it was maybe about the horrors of war or maybe some suspense, like Darth Vader goes on another killing spree. So this is like post Order 66 during the Great Jedi Purge, and it's scary. Like the music is horrific, the kills, they don't have to be like gory because it's a lightsaber, so be cauterized, but still the tension needs to be like Halloween isn't a gory film. There's a little bit of blood and there's some boobies, so it's a good time. But it's the tension, it's Michael Myers, she pans the camera one way, he's gone. She walks the other way, he's there. They walk again the other way, he's gone again. So many great little moments like that you could infuse into a Star Wars, which wouldn't feel unnatural. Darth Vader can be a scary character, should be. He should instill fear. He did. Like we said on our Empire Strikes Back commentary, when we get to Return of the Jedi, Darth Vader feels a little cucked out. He just doesn't really instill the same fear. Rugis, you can be on the show. It's a Patreon hangout. You're a patron. I know this stuff. So on the 14th, I'm going to put a link later. I'll get closer to the month, but you guys can be on because for ours, we're going to do a top 10 on that Wednesday, and we're going to watch them all as a live stream. So if you guys have Netflix or Hulu, you'll be able to watch them with us. It's there's a low entry to that. And if you want to get your free 7-day trial of Netflix that day and then cancel it because you really want to watch them with us, go ahead. You won't regret it. And then the 14th is going to be the patron night. We're not going to do 10 episodes for that because it's on a Sunday, but we'll do 5. And basically the people who want to be on have already been talked to, now all there. And we'll let you guys pick one episode each, but make sure that they don't appear on our list, and make sure that they don't interfere with the other people's, because you guys have to come on the show and discuss your episode, why you picked it, the importance, the social commentary, all that stuff is still relevant to this day. So the Twilight Zone one for the fans involves a lot of legwork on your end, but it'll be much better because the Twilight Zone is worth it. I see the words Rob Zombie Halloween. We almost had that on our list, but we took it off because I can't do that much butt stink in a movie. No. Cigarettes, pipe tobacco, and unwashed asses. There's just things I don't get involved with in my horror films. Yeah, I would like a Darth Vader movie like to be the scene from Rogue One stretched out. But man, Darth Vader just goes on this killing spree, and just what other horror situation could you take? I mean, are monsters still scary? I feel like the monster movie genre is over. I don't want it to be. I do like stuff like The Blob, and The Fog's not a horror zombie. The zombie movie. The Fog's like horror pirates. I love those. But what else do you do? Like Wampa Attack, or that would be too B film cheesiness. Do you want that? A B Hollywood B flick? Maybe you do. And not B movie, the entire script printed on a t-shirt. I know I'll watch Terror Train or Night Train to Terror in October. It's so funny. I also plan to watch Ichabod Crane, Legend of Sleepy Hollow Disney animated film. That's a Disney thing I can get behind. I do like Aladdin and The Lion King as well. I have to be honest. But I do like all the horror stuff. It doesn't have to be just strictly slasher. I like the gothic. I like the macabre. I listen to, like when I'm working on Stealing Solo in October, I'll be listening to Edgar Allan Poe stories. I'll be listening to some darker sci-fi. Just I really get in the zone for that whole month. What horror movie scares me as an adult? I said this the other day. It's The Den. It's the movie about the girl that gets her computer gets hacked, and then she gets kidnapped and held in a thing like a bunker, and they live stream it on the dark web, and then she tries to escape and gets shot in the head at the end. That's scary because that could happen. Jason can't come back from the bottom of a lake. Michael Myers got shot 6 times and fell out of a balcony. He's fucking done. Those things don't scare me because they're so fake. But any crazy asshole out there can come, do that to you. And the thing that got me too is that, like, in the movie, they leaked all of her private information. They released, like, they turned on her webcam and filmed her having sex and sent it to all these people at her job. It was just a fucked up movie, but it was so awesome. So that's The Den. I believe that's still on Netflix. So if you guys have Netflix, watch that. Watch that tonight. Don't wait till October. Watch The Den tonight. Watch it with a girlfriend and see how uncomfortable it makes her. It's funny to watch people squirm. I mean, if it can make me squirm, anybody can get uncomfortable from that movie. Would Basket Case be a monster movie? Well, Belial is one of the ugliest creatures in cinema, so maybe. Let's see. The Halloween franchise is admittedly the beginning of a slasher era. Yeah, the first Halloween's great. Second one, pretty damn good too. But it goes downhill quick from there. I hate the Friday the 13th movies. We did a stream for that. That took courage. But at least we had Miguel A. Nunez Jr. to help us through the trying times. Have I seen Midnight Meat Train? Is that a porno? Because I haven't. Chris Mikic, thank you very much again. Darth Nihilus would be great in a horror movie. Let me look up Darth Nihilus real quick because I don't know who the hell he is. Like Star Wars, I don't do all the expanded universe stuff. So let's see. Darth Nihilus. Okay. So Darth Nihilus. Oh, okay. The video game, right? Isn't this the Old Republic? Okay. Yeah, Darth Nihilus would be cool. Maybe they do so maybe they'll do like a Insidious thing where the Force, we know about the light side and the dark side of the Force, but there's like another level where you're like, maybe there's a character that's part in the real world and part in the Force, like, or they can become a Force ghost type of thing. Like they're a converted Force ghost. They're trapped in Force purgatory. So they have, the ability to convince the good that they're good and, trick Jedi of a weaker mind level, but then they're also even more sinister than a Darth Sidious or Darth Vader, stuff like that. That'd be, maybe that's his story. I don't know. I'm just looking at pictures of the character. I'm learning about, or I'm just pulling this out of my ass, playing, hypothetical armchair movie writer right now. But that would be kind of cool to do, like a supernatural Force. I'm in the light side, I'm in the dark side. The tortured souls of the Force. Maybe they show that the Force isn't as good and pure or as evil. Like the dark side has so much more to it, and it's like when Freddy Krueger rips open his shirt and he has all the souls, those little mouths on his chest. It's something like that where he can feel the Force ripping apart these people. That'd be kind of interesting. Swinging Cod, thank you very much for your super chat. I always thought the Death Trooper EU books was a good one for a Star Wars film. It would be a solid horror movie if done right. Well, Swinging Cod, if done right, is the operative phrase right there. But no, I know that book. I know that book because I was in college when that came out, and that got like a big release at the local bookstore. It had like a big display. I've never seen a Star Wars book get the same kind of treatment. I was like, I don't know if I want to buy this or read this book called Millennium Falcon because it has something to do with Han Solo. But I remember that book coming out, and I've seen some really great cosplay based on the Death Troopers. And maybe it's time. How would you guys feel if Star Wars they just made a one-off horror movie and it took the world by storm, and then Star Wars became, this sci-fi franchise that does dabble in horror, and they just so happen to be so good? Wouldn't that be bizarre to see a horror film in the galaxy far, far away? It'd be refreshing. I know we complain and critique Disney Star Wars a lot, but none of us want Star Wars to disappear forever. We just want it to get fixed. And yes, it's going to take a little time to fix it with Disney involved, get them out of it. But at the same time, I think we really want something fun. We want to be excited because I know that when Disney releases, or when there is a new great piece of Star Wars entertainment, everyone from this channel will come together to rejoice, here on a live stream and videos and stuff. Like, man, this is the first great Star Wars thing in a decade. And everyone's going to be excited and check it out and love it. And it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm waiting for that. Maybe that is the Death Troopers EU book, or maybe it's a fan film or something like that. Maybe it's an animated show that's based on the original trilogy. There are things out there that instill faith and hope and excitement. It's going to take a while, but I would love to see some horror elements in Star Wars. JSP, thank you very much for super chat. Can anyone send their list of the Twilight Zone episodes, or is it still just a Patreon member thing? Email or Facebook Messenger? Well, JSP, it's a patron hangout. We'd love to know your top episodes. Believe me, I'm not trying to put up a wall or push people out. That's never my intention. We use our Patreon money to help go to conventions. I mean, we got another convention for next year already, and that was like it's going to cost an entire month of Patreon to cover all that stuff. So that's not a complaint. That's why we do certain things on Patreon, not to push people out. But you can tell us your episodes. We've already formulated our top 10 list for the 10th of October. Like, that list is set in stone. We even have the viewing order down, and we're going to make that known soon. We're going to make it known the week that it comes out. Now, if you want to join us in the chat, we're going to do it live. So we'd love you to comment on it. It's a lot of fun too. We have a lot of the big ones. We also have some smaller, more obscure ones, but we have that list formulated. The patrons, they're going to come up with their own list, but I'd love to hear what you think about the Twilight Zone. To get involved, shoot me a list, a message like this. We'll read it on air. You can, it's all of our shows, even if we don't have a Patreon night or a patron thing hangout, I consider all of our shows a group thing. Maybe we're having the discussion, but everyone's invited to join in the discussion type thing. So JSP, I'd love to hear your episodes. I bet you we have some similar ones. And if you like our choices, great. If you dislike our choices, awesome too, because that opens up the dialogue to discuss the Twilight Zone with hundreds, maybe thousands of other people out there who love the show. So hopefully, JSP, you do send us your list so we can talk about it with you during our stream. Super Smash Brothers candidate, you're back. You had no web service for 2 weeks. How have things been? Things have been great, Super Smash Brothers candidate. Life's been good. Been on the right track. The channel's been growing. We've had a great bunch of streams. Stealing Solo has now passed 800 backers. All kinds of great stuff. So when you do miss world-class bullshitters, you miss a lot if you miss one day of it. But when you come back, you get to see how much better we are and how much more dedicated we are to keep things rolling. So I'm glad you're back. One of the names out there that we're happy to see. We're happy to see everybody. But you didn't miss enough that you're going to be lost. It's funny. I keep getting these notifications for Stealing Solo, so thank you to everybody. I try not to read your names on air because I don't want to give out real names and put people on Front Street. But it's funny. I get tagged and stuff, and they're like, "A dead body was found in Cincinnati." And my friend from out of town goes, "Was this your dead body that they found?" I said, "Yes, it was." You're talking to a ghost. Let's see. R-rated Darth Maul flick. Well, yeah, we have, what is it? Insidious. He looked like the ghost of Darth Maul. John Harrison said it right. Star Wars could do other things for new fans, but it's all about, sorry, let me reread that Cadmium Red. John Harrison said it right. Star Wars could do other things for new fans, but it's true. At its core, it's about good versus evil. I completely agree with him. Yeah. And when I mean this is not a color thing, but it's black and white. Bad guys are bad. Good guys are good. The gray area isn't what made Star Wars Star Wars. It was the good versus evil dynamic. You could argue that Han Solo was a gray area character, but I would argue he was still a whiter character because he didn't sympathize with the Empire. He knew he didn't want to get involved. And when push came to shove, who the fuck shot first? Han Solo. He took out the sand troopers that were coming at him in Docking Bay 94. He didn't go, whoa, guys. Let me talk my way out of this. I don't want to get involved with the Empire. No. He just blasted them. He had no love for anyone that was coming after him. And eventually he does pledge his allegiance to the Empire. He does what's right. He knows that he's in trouble, but he still does what's right for the greater good. He's one of the best movie characters ever. It's so sad to see him die or get kidnapped and held in a basement and forced to remake the movie himself. So we got about 25 minutes left of our Friday stream. That means we got 25 minutes left of Good Morning Pop Culture. We did it again 5 days this week. Kicked ass every day. Thank you to everybody. It's been an awesome time. I don't know if we're doing anything tonight. Do you guys have any suggestions of what we should do tonight? I know the other guys are busy. So I know, and I'm going to do the drawing stream tomorrow night when more people are home. Because Friday night, people go out, they party, they drink. I'd like to go out and do something fun, but I got stuff I have to do. So in the future is when I'll be doing some more stuff. Han Solo joined both the Rebellion and the Empire, but I did mean the Rebellion. Thoughts on Venom press screen day before releasing and being lifted day of release embargo. I haven't heard about the Venom embargo or release date thing. We're going to see the movie for the channel, but not for next week's podcast. We'll try to catch it next weekend independently and then get together and record something for the channel. I'm a Spider-Man fan, hardcore Spider-Man fan. Love it to death. I can pick out different artists, all the story arcs, stuff like not all the story arcs, but more than your average comic book reader. I probably know more about You know what? I do know more about Spider-Man than Comics Explained, and I don't need Wikipedia. I just pull out a book for reference. I can tell you what I've read, what I haven't read, and it's not a jab at him. I'm just saying I know my Spider-Man. I'm very passionate. This Venom movie, I have no excitement for, and I have no excitement for Into the Spider-Verse. So, maybe, just maybe, that this isn't a good sign that they're trying to hide behind an embargo. And if they're, to me, the best things out there are like, oh yeah, the movie's out. Oh, they, listen to the reviews. People are going to love it. They don't have that. Deadpool watch party. That's a possibility. More Bat Dong. Patrons, did you guys check out? I released the MP3 for Bat Dong yesterday. That was an extra bonus. And everybody that's also a patron, you're going to get your After Hours episode today. I had to go to bed because last night's show went extra long, and After Hours went extra long. We talked about juggalos, or hoogalos, as we call them now on the channel. So hoogalos there. That's basically what I'm going to call the show. And we talked about Miss Cleo for quite a while. So call me now for your free reading, child. I can't. Last night we did it so much. We were talking about Bane and Miss Cleo. Yeah. So there's a lot of world-class bullshitters content coming your way really soon. And Saturday, like I said, it's going to be our stream. I'm going to go out and look for the apparatus so I can get my other webcam up and you guys can watch me draw. Let's see. Event Horizon was a good space horror movie. Man, I haven't seen that in a while. I got the Blu-ray downstairs. For some reason, the Blu-ray has been sitting on a shelf in my dining room, but not in my office where the Blu-rays live. So, they're eating her, and then they're going to eat me. Oh, my God. Somebody likes Troll 2. I do, too. And you can't piss on hospitality. I won't allow it. Maybe we'll watch that. Maybe I'll, I do have a couple open spots the closer we get to Halloween. Maybe we'll do some schlocky piece of shit movies. Do I have hope that Resistance will be good? I don't. I think it'll be... I don't think Rebels is good. So, to me, it looks like it's going to be more of that shit. Clone Wars, I'm one of the few people that I bought in from the very beginning. I know they like to say, Clone Wars was terrible in the beginning. You had to watch it to get so far. I watched that shit from opening day till it ended on Cartoon Network, and I liked it. Some episodes were great, some episodes were okay. But overall, I liked it from the beginning. I bought in. This show, it could be amazing, but I'm not going to watch it. It's not going to change The Last Jedi. It's not going to change The Force Awakens. Just because they make this cartoon that's not terrible. First off, if it's terrible, it's just for kids. Don't judge the movies. And if it's great, well, Star Wars is great again. See, they're trying to, it's like heads I win, tails you lose type of thing. They're trying to pull that Hucklebuck, according to a friend of mine. They're not going to be able to get over this time. Postmortem 666 says, a small token of my appreciation. Keep the fun going. Well, Postmortem 666, thank you very much for that token. I appreciate that. I appreciate you. And I will keep the fun going all the time, every day. Like I said, if I wasn't having a good time doing this shit, I wouldn't be doing it. Something else. But this is awesome. So, got a lot of cool people. Love the show. Got friends that love doing the show as well. So, be prepared for 2019. It's going to be fucking incredible. That's all I can say. Somebody asked, what Spider-Man comics to start before Spider-Man comics got bad? I'm going to give you an unpopular opinion. I advocate you start at the very beginning. You start with Amazing Fantasy number 15. You read the story. Actually, if you can find a reprint of Amazing Fantasy 15 that reprints the other story as well, I suggest you check that one out too, because the second story is just as good as well. It's as fun as Spider-Man, but it's not as iconic, and it's not superhero. It's science fiction. But really, Secret Rebel, make sure you start at the beginning. Read as many Spider-Man comics as you can. You hear me talk about the character and my knowledge and my passion. Well, maybe I didn't start at the beginning because I was 4 or 5 years old when I started reading comics, and it was the newest Spider-Man stuff. But I have gone back, and I've, get yourself books on the character, read magazine articles, stuff like that respects the lineage. But don't read. Here's my thing: if you're going to read stuff about Spider-Man, read stuff that was printed before 2012, because that's before any kind of political spin comes into comic books, and that's also before Spider-Man becomes Deadpool-liked. The true character died off close to a decade ago. But start from the beginning. Get yourself Spider-Man: The Ultimate Guide by Tom DeFalco. That's going to help you learn about the character. Then get yourself Spider-Man: The Icon, and then get yourself Spider-Man: The Art of Spider-Man Classic. Those are 3 coffee table books that I have about Spider-Man that I suggest for everybody. Everybody. I used to live next to a woman who sounded just like Miss Cleo. We were pretty sure she was a pimp. It's a neighbor I'd like to have. I gotta tell you, I got neighbors that are hillbillies, and well, the black family next door, they're not very nice to their handicapped kids, so I have a different take on them. But I'll take Miss Cleo over them, or a pimp any day of the week. Hell, there might be a pimp. Dan lived by a brothel on his street. Yeah, that's a real thing. That's not a joke. That's not a joke, guys. Tim Allen said Toy Story 4 was like Avengers Infinity War. If it's that good, I'm excited. I don't like Toy Story 3 because of the message of, you got to give away your toys. But Toy Story overall, the quality's been there. I just don't like the message of number 3. And Toy Story 2, that might be my favorite one. That's a really good movie. We saw that when it first came out. God, 20 years ago almost. Holy shit. Sir Ruin of House Roundhead, thank you very much. Welcome back to the channel. Mahler and Dishonored Wolf mentioned you in their most recent podcast on Mahler's channel called Mueller. You should check it out. Cool. I hope it was a good thing. I like those guys. I'd like to work with them again in the future. Mahler, and I only met Dishonored Wolf that one time, but he was very cool. I like him. I have nothing but nice things to say. And Mahler is one of my favorite YouTubers. That dude saved me $20 with not seeing The Predators, and he's been a friend and been here a lot and really helped us out, so I can hope to help him out in the future. But I'll check that out. I have some time when I'm drawing this week. Let's see. Jeff, the animation may be bad, but do you think there's a sliver of chance for a good story? Or sliver of chance if the story is good? Well, Alphamar Dotilos, or Dotios, I apologize if I butcher that. I'm just going to call you Alphamar. How's that? We're all on a first-name basis here. We're all friends. It could be good. But the thing is, it's going to tell the story of... First off, it's going to not be as deep as I'd want it to be. The Clone Wars was a deep show. It dealt with... remember the episode where they had the defective clone that died? Oh, that can be a hero too. That's the type of shit Disney Star Wars doesn't have the balls to put in there. Oh, we can't show a less than desirable character. We need to do this, that, and the other. What the hell is happening outside? Well, at least with Disney, with the Clone Wars, there were some heavy elements. Like, I was just thinking about the defective clone and thinking to myself, man, that was a powerful episode. Or, when the clone turned and became controlled, the Order 66 directive came quicker than before. And they had, he killed a Jedi and all that stuff. You can have heavy elements, but I don't foresee that happening in Disney Star Wars. Because they tried that with the prequels to have these heavy elements. And Lucas was in charge. He was the top guy. And he wasn't that good at it. But so when his ideas were good, but the execution wasn't. So when you have the execution and the ideas work, in terms of Star Wars, with what the Clone Wars was, you had something excellent, I thought. Do I think they'll be able to replicate that? No. Could there be another good story in there within the framework of what they're creating? Anything's possible. But at least for me, I always go by what came before and what I'm supposed to look forward to. And I don't really look forward to too much from Disney Star Wars based off of what they've given us ever since they bought the franchise. So there is a sliver. And I guess I have to be objective about that. But for me, I don't expect it. I should do a National Lampoon's Vacation Marathon. Yes, I will. I wanted to do that over the summer, do the first one. But we can do all of them. I will definitely we're going to do a Christmas stream, not on Christmas, because that's the day you spend with your family. I'll have videos that go live on Christmas, so if there's anyone out there that doesn't really... have much to do, or you don't celebrate Christmas, there's something for you to watch, because we don't discriminate based on beliefs or holiday choices. Maybe you want to celebrate, I don't know, Festivus, even though I don't like Seinfeld. I believe that's from the show, and that's pretty funny to me. I watched Spider-Man 94 animated series. I know that show. It was awesome. Secret Rebel, it was a good show. Go make sure you check out The Spectacular Spider-Man. That to me is a superior show. Jonathan Hurst says, videos for beginning learning to draw comic art. Oh, I love answering questions like this. I know Anna, that Star Wars girl, said go draw from real life and stuff. I do advocate that too, but you can also learn a lot from books. So I'll tell you this, Jonathan, because you sent the super chat. Even if you didn't, I still appreciate asking this question. But I'll show these books on the stream. But I'm going to show you guys comic books, how to draw books that I suggest you get. And not necessarily are they going to be the fun how to draw Marvel. Like the ones you see at Michael's Crafts do have some validity to them, but they don't go into a deeper thing, which I will cover. So if you want to start from the beginning, you should watch, look up how to draw videos. Don't watch anything from a channel called Expert Village because they suck. Even back when I was watching their videos in 2008, I was a better artist than them. And I've really advanced over the last decade. The fuck? Now there's loud music playing outside. I sound like a crotchety old man, but I don't want to get copyright strike because it played that song, like it's Dynamite or whatever song. Anyway, back to your question though. You can get yourself how to draw books on anatomy. Those are fun. Well, they can be fun if you really study. Get yourself some books called from Andrew Loomis. And after, at least if you can figure out a basic setup of how to draw, like the most basic steps, I suggest you watch guys like Ethan draw. Watch Ethan draw. Watch Jim Lee draw. Watch these big artists draw, because after you learn your fundamentals, and I know this sounds boring, but after you learn your fundamentals, watching a professional do it can help you cut corners and save time. A lot of guys do like a loose sketch and then they kind of build up. I do the shape method where I'll draw a circle for a head, like the top of your cranium, and then I'll draw a line. I build the head very classically because in my mind, the way my brain works, the steps, like I can see where I'm going for it, and then I basically chisel out the artwork from the shapes. I'll be showing that tomorrow night. But Jonathan, I don't really watch a lot of other YouTube channels on how to draw. I do know how to draw myself. That's not an ego thing. A lot of the how to draw channels, like, okay, watch Todd Knock draw. Again, he's a professional. He does a little sketchier stuff, but Todd Knock will go out of his way to help you. And one piece of advice I will give you, Jonathan, don't fall into the trap of, I got to draw with the same pencil as the artist. I got to draw with the same marker on the same paper, this, that, and the other. Look, if you're practicing and you're just trying to learn, drawing on the best Bristol board with a $20 pencil and a $40 marker set isn't going to make you, Jim Lee or John Romita or Ethan. It's the time and the practice, because Ethan and Jim Lee and all those guys can produce the same quality of work with a Sharpie and a 2-cent pencil. So in the beginning, when you're learning to sketch, take your time, put in the effort, and don't fall into the trap. Get yourself a nice Strathmore sketchbook. Usually Michael's Crafts has them. Buy one, get one half off, or use your 40% off coupon that's on the phone app. Get that and just start practicing. And one thing too, if it sucks in the beginning, that means you're doing it right, because nobody started out great. People like my Stealing Solo art, I didn't start out with getting the perspective down right. No, it took time. It takes time. Don't give up. If you really are passionate about it, everything that you love, if you want to get good at it, it's worth putting in the time. I got these books on bodybuilding and stuff, and I'm putting in the time. Sometimes the diet, I kind of, flip-flop. But overall, I'm putting in the time to get stronger. I noticed changes already over the last couple months. So if you put in the time, you can make it happen. But don't expect yourself to draw like Ethan the first day. I mean, I have somewhere in my office or my house, I have the book where I first started to try to draw Marvel comics, like how to draw comics the Marvel way, and my stuff looked nothing like that. I actually got discouraged. I just started coloring pictures in the books. I'm like, I don't know how to do this. And over the time, I got better, and you will too. So just constantly work at it. Suck in the beginning. Sit down and draw a fuckload of circles. Get your hand used to it. Draw lines. Learn how to do the tapered line, the feathered line, all that stuff. You'll appreciate taking the time to do it right in the beginning, because then, like me, I can knock out Stealing Solo in a good amount of time. It's not going to take me months to draw that comic. It's going to take me weeks, because I know what I'm doing, and you'll get there too. Grendel Fan 84 says, first off, thank you, Grendel Fan 84. I'll admit I'm not a Spider-Man fan at all. However, Kraven's Last Hunt is the greatest Spider-Man story of all time, in my opinion. I proudly display the deluxe hardcover in my living room. Grendel Fan, I am a Spider-Man fan. I'll admit it. And I agree. Kraven's Last Hunt is the greatest Spider-Man story ever. I do always suggest to go from the beginning, but when you start from the beginning, you understand why Spider-Man has a black suit, that the stories had a darker tone, and they kind of, boom, ended with a bang with Kraven's Last Hunt. So if anyone out there only can watch one or read one Spider-Man story, Kraven's Last Hunt is great. I love it. And then I also suggest you guys read like The Night Gwen Stacy Died, or Spider-Man issue number 300 is a really solid issue. There are all kinds of really great books out there, but I don't think you guys will appreciate these stories unless you start from the beginning. And the thing is, it's not like I'm telling you to go read really boring stuff. It's like, hey, go read Spider-Man. Okay, Spider-Man is awesome. It is, and it started out great, and it ends kind of shitty where we are now. But overall, it's Spider-Man. There's a level of quality that's not matched by other comic books. There's a reason why he's the most famous superhero from Marvel ever. And Grendel fan, I don't have that book displayed. I have it on my shelf. I have the hardback edition. When we meet again, please bring up Kraven's Last Hunt, because there's a really funny story I want to tell you, but I can't really tell it on air, and I can't show the video of it because of what happened. But when you get a chance, talk to me, because I want to relay that story to you, because you will laugh your ass off when I tell it to you. What the hell is going on? There's a school walk outside of my house right now. There's like 100 high school kids out there. Huh. I don't know. I don't like it. Anna says, that Star Wars girl said she hated Toy Story 3 for the message of giving away your toys. So that's why I dislike it too. I'm 29. I'll be 30 in less than a month. I still buy toys. Toys aren't a sign of childhood. To me, they're a physical embodiment of something you like. Like, you can't really go out and buy Luke Skywalker or something, but you can get a little figure and take a little piece of Luke Skywalker back to your house and put it on a shelf. I don't think you become an adult when you get rid of your toys. And when I went to college, I took some stuff. I had like a Han Solo doll and a couple other things. And you know what? Still had a lot of fun. Believe me, I lived at Animal House lifestyle parties, drinking, girls, all that stuff. Just having some toys didn't ruin that for me. And it didn't keep me from my studies either. So I think Toy Story 3 ends on a really stupid note. If I was Andy, I never gave away my proverbial Buzz Lightyear. I still have the Power Rangers. I'm looking at them. They evolve. They go from your favorite toys to a box to a decorative item on a shelf. To me, that's the evolution of a collector. Now, not everybody needs to respect their toys the way I do. That's why, like, when Ethan does his destroying videos of toys, I won't do those because I feel bad. Even if I hate a Ray action figure, that's an action figure. I have a little bit of respect, like a comic book. My mom wanted to take some old comic books and do a decoupage project. I said, Mom, I'll help you if you tear the comic books apart, because I can't do it. I feel weird, like it's a comic, it's somebody's time and effort. Maybe Herb Trimpe didn't draw the greatest Spider-Man issue, but I'm not going to tear it apart. That's, hundreds of hours of that guy's life. That's his legacy. He's dead now. That's what he's remembered for. I guess I hold comic books in a really high regard. That's why I do what I do. Okay, so oh man, I can't believe it's almost over. I don't want to. What's the best comic book movie, Jeff? Whether it's accurate or just overall great, what would you make your number one, or what takes your number one spot? Spider-Man 2, hands down. I love the Avengers. I love Infinity War, all that stuff. Dark Knight's okay. Batman Begins, Batman 89. I love those two movies. But Spider-Man 2, not just about accuracy, but to me, it's accuracy of the character. And that movie works for me on every level, every day of the week. If you pop in Spider-Man 2, I'm inspired to start from the beginning to the end. It has great set pieces. It's my favorite character. It tells a great story. It deals with the great power, the great responsibility, all that stuff. They get Spider-Man right. They got it right. And that's why I'm so angry and passionate about the new shit, because we were there already. Why did we regress? For jokes and diversity? No. Spider-Man has always had a diverse cast. Women, people of every color. Spider-Man had black friends, black roommates. It wasn't in 99 or 98 when he roomed with Randy Robertson. It didn't feel like, oh, he's got a black roommate, now it's a gimmick. No, he's the son of the one of the editors at the Daily Bugle. They're friends. It makes sense. Spider-Man, giving the Spider-Man suit to Hobie Brown to help him out, doesn't feel like, oh, he's picking this black guy to, represent whatever. He's just picking a dude that's smart as he is and has these powers or these skills to replicate Spider-Man's powers, at least from a technological standpoint. So Spider-Man already had everything they fight for with diversity in comics and gay characters, minorities, all this stuff was there in Spider-Man decades ago. And you know why? Because that's how it was in the real world. They treated it like a lens of the real world. Nowadays, they try to make it strictly about the representation. And, that's the story. No, it's not. I have another thing to tell you. But yeah, Mercutio, excuse me. That is my number one superhero flick. Spider-Man 2, all day, every day. I could watch it daily. It's funny. I used to, or not used to, but when the movie was about to come out, I would get any piece of art for the movie, Dr. Pepper cans, anything. And I would just sit and I would draw the pictures from that. I have notebooks full of old Spider-Man drawings. Some were good, some were not so good. I've definitely evolved. You can check out that. But that's how you get better, and that's how you make the stories. You spend the time. So Spider-Man was what I spent a lot of time on. Let's see. Is Ethan giving you any advice? Interested to see your art. Oh, I've been sharing my art. I've been sharing the art all the time. I'll show you guys again. It's going to be the Han Solo in the basement thing. Ethan's always like, man, that looks really good. I didn't realize you could draw like that. So I take that as a big compliment. Ethan, look, here's the thing. I'm not hiding and I'm not afraid to take advice. Why would you be afraid to take advice from one of the all-time greats from DC Comics? The fact that I have the ability to ask one of the all-time greats from DC Comics for help is awesome. Like, the fact that that's my life right now is pretty fucking cool. And if he has any advice, I'm always open to take it. I'm not hiding from that stuff like that. But I have my own, I like what I'm producing. I stand behind Stealing Solo. Here's an actual panel. This is a splash page from the book. I showed it to Ethan this week on the High Council. He said how great it looked. It was nice to hear that. But I like what I draw. I stand behind it. I got the perspective down and all that stuff. And I really love the coloring and all the stuff. So that is my art. That is how I draw. If he has any pointers, I'm more than open to take them. But, I just don't. He hasn't said anything. He's like, this is cool. He's like, if you need help, let me know. And so far, I really haven't needed help. I just, I spent so much time doing this. I'm just doing what I know. And if I have problems, I will go to him. But the story's so deep in development, and I'm worried about telling a good, coherent story. Like, the stuff I focus on, obviously, is the rendering and the artwork and all that stuff. But then I sit and think to myself, I want to end this page. I want to end with this big panel. So I need to fit dialogue and this and that. And so I go back and I spend the time. I labor over that kind of stuff. It's not necessarily, they're flying through space or whatever. No, it's about the joke works best when the next page starts like this. The little things that you guys won't think about are the things I think about, because to me, that's what makes a good comic. You can draw Spider-Man perfectly every panel, but if the panels are ugly and the layout makes no sense and the story's garbage, well, then you have some really great Spider-Man pinups, but you have no comic book. What the? Oh my God, I hate this neighborhood. Jeff, would you suggest getting the videos from the self-defense company? Are those oh, you mean okay, so you're talking about exercise and stuff. I don't really know how to train or give people advice for martial arts training. I mean, there are schools you can learn some stuff. I'm not a trained martial artist, so I don't know. I mean, I took Taekwondo as a kid and I did win 2 state trophies because I was bigger than everybody. I kicked them in the head and got all the points. But you could check those out. There are defense programs. I'm sure your local YMCA or whatever offers those too. So you got to do what's right for you. If you're looking for exercise stuff, though, the buff dudes are awesome. I think those are the best, guys out there. I love the song Holiday Road. So do I. So do I. Yeah, tell the kids to stay off my lawn. I will. I'll tell them, get off my lawn. Let's see. Spider-Man 2 is great. Did I see Ethan do an interview on the Daily Wire yesterday? I didn't. I heard about it, though. I talked to Ethan quite a bit, so there we go. Turn off the lights, Jeff. They're coming for you. Bring it on! I prefer a straight fight to all this sneaking around. Thank you, Tina. I'm glad you're excited for this story, too. I'm excited for you guys to read it. It'll be the funniest book from the Comics Gate movement. And then it'll become its own thing. Movie, maybe an adaptation, who knows. Oh, Jeff, I thought you'll be another YouTuber that I sub that knows martial arts like Jesse and Ivan Ortega. Sadly, I'm not as skilled as Jesse or Ivan Ortega. What can I offer as a YouTuber besides art advice? I can offer you pretty good life advice. I'm not saying I'm the most accomplished person in everything, but I do know people quite well, and I can give you advice there. Rizzy Toxic Fan Lee sends a super chat that says, your art is better than a lot of Marvel guys. Well, thank you very much, Rizzy Toxic Fan Lee. I appreciate the compliment. It's just, I'm 29. I've been drawing consistently since I was probably 11, 12. So I've been putting a lot of time into it. It just, if you guys want to draw or do stuff, just put in the time. I'm glad some of the other stuff didn't pan out, so I could do this story now with this level of skill. You know, maybe this is the perfect way to start. What's in his hand is a makeshift blaster. I could show you guys certain things, but I don't want to take away for the 800 people that have backed it. I don't want any spoilers out there. That's why there's no digital versions. There's no anything like that. It's all one. Like how I like Star Wars, how it all builds to end with a bang with the Death Star explosion. This all builds to a big bang Death Star explosion like event, and it's funny. It's fun. Remember, this is about a group of guys forcing him to remake Star Wars in their basement. These aren't rich guys that have like, oh, we're going to go get the Master Replicas blaster and all this stuff. No. Trust me. Fix it in post is a good way to look at this movie. Did you know Fleetwood Mac did the song Holiday Road? It's just Lindsey Buckingham. It's not Hollywood or not Fleetwood Mac proper. But yeah, have you ever seen the music video, Kevin? It's terrible. It's so dumb. It's one of the dumbest music videos ever. Go watch the Holiday Road music video and have a good laugh. My drawing skills equal Ryan Johnson, so I'll leave this to you, Jeff. Thank you, Max. Relax. I appreciate you having leaving the art to me. Let's see. Jeff's fighting technique is closer to that of Andre the Giant and the Princess Bride. That is true. Most people look at me and go, nope, not worth the effort. Now, when I took karate in college for an elective, the lady's like, she went to do the hip toss. She goes, a guy of this size, you're not going to want to try a hip toss for, so don't try it. And then they just had me sit down. I'm not going to portray myself as this ultimate badass who can, look death in the face if somebody's got a gun on me. I mean, I'm not going to say, please don't hurt me, but I'm not going to be like, oh, I'm going to slap that gun out of your face, boy, or some dumb shit like that. I'm just going to try to avoid getting in that situation because I don't want to get shot over something stupid. But overall, no one's going to just come up to me and try to start a fight. So, is it worse than dancing in the street? It may be worse than dancing in the street. Dancing in the street, at least, is funny bad. This isn't funny bad. It's just bad. That's all I can say. But it's a better song than Dancing in the Street. I hate every version of that song. Oh, Barbara Alpha singing the song. Man, if only I could play music over the stream, I would end out the day with Holiday Road. Fantastic song. Love the movie. Clark W. Griswold. If I could have a fictional dad be mine, I may pick him because he's so dumb, and at times you're in danger, but overall the kids turn out all right. So wouldn't be the worst fictional dad to have. Al Bundy's funnier, but security's kind of important to me. So I don't really want to have a dad that might not have a job tomorrow and we might all die. Jeff, I imagine your face is really scary with scowling, but it's nice. There's a nice personality behind the tough face. Maybe, or maybe I'm secretly even evil or more evil than you realize. Nah, I'm pretty relaxed. I don't see myself getting in those situations. Why? Because the people I surround myself with know that it's just life's too short to be a frowny biscuit eating bitch. So we just have fun, we laugh, we crack up. Wait, if you come to Star Wars Celebration, make sure you get to hang out with us after I've had like a beer or two. I'm way more relaxed and I'm ready to have a lot of fun. Uncle Phil would ask him to talk like that. Oh, man, if Uncle Phil was your uncle, you would ask him to talk like the Shredder. Yeah, I would too. Man, rest in peace, James Avery. Have you guys seen the picture of Will Smith bungee jumping? He looks like James Avery nowadays. Oh, God, these people. Stop honking at the kids. You're ruining our show. Oh, God, I don't want to screw out the window. Oh, God. It's the same people honking in the other direction. Journey Separate Ways is the worst music video. I love that song. I hate Journey as a band, but that video is pretty dumb. When I used to watch the Watch Mojo videos, that was one that came up on their list quite a bit. The DJD show says, check out World Class Bullshitters Patreon. Best bang for your buck. Well, DJ D Show, I appreciate the plug as well as your support. You're a top tier patron. Our buddy Sketch Therapy is the biggest patron in history. The dude likes the stuff so much he's gone above and beyond. He's 5 times the legal limit of patronage. So we have superfan Adam Shawhan, who's a madman with Stealing Solo. But we got to give all the respect to Sketch Therapy. That dude really believes in what we do. And to me, it's not about the money thing. It's like, man, these people really like what we do that much that they go above and beyond. It makes me feel good. At the end of the day, there's a smile on my face when I think about the fans and the community and all this stuff we've built. So that's why when people on Twitter or in their dark secret cabal Facebook groups try to talk shit and tear us down, you guys know the truth with me. You know where the buck stops, how we feel about you, how you feel about us, and we're always honest and we're always about fun. So let's think. I think it's time for us to close the I think it's time to close out the show. Actually, Justin Ward, my the perspective issues on the ceiling rafters aren't there because I used a perspective ruler, so there's no issue with that. Ethan actually gave me a compliment on it. So check out the High Council this week. You'll have to hear what he actually said. That's over on Geeks and Gamers. So, Jesus. Is it really that fun to walk down the street in late September? That's all I can say. That's all I can say. So, guys, I'll be back. Wait. Bought a vibrating egg for the X. She said the same thing. Thanks for... What? Oh, my God. Now we have shitty jokes like that. Oh, God. All right. Well, we've reached critical mass with this show. So, guys, thank you very much. I'll be back tomorrow night with a little sketch show. We'll have some fun with that. We'll see how long it goes for, and we'll take it from there. And I'll be back on Monday with Good Morning Pop Culture. So let's hope some crazy shit happens over the weekend, and we'll have more stuff to laugh at. Until next time, folks, have a good one.